A group of cultists, consisting of humans and mutants, gathered in a dark dungeon. They read a text in an unknown language while worshipping the tower in the center. Their ritual was interrupted by wars that destroyed such scum. Among them, there are chief commanders and groups of privates under their command. One of the key figures is the Sword Lord, Ray Chan, also a necromancer and gravekeeper, Georg Billmeyer, and the Holy Woman, Maria Jaeger. She calls on everyone to stop the ritual as soon as possible. But it is too late. The tower level has changed from 12th to 12th plus. A new target for the tower raid has been determined. The warriors hoped to make it in time, so they were not prepared for this. Season 1. Season Boss, Plague Lord. New goal to defeat him. Such an opponent may prove too strong for them, even considering their large number. After all, his abilities can take down a large number of people at once. The disease it spreads quickly penetrates the body. Even the strong warriors who led everyone else cannot cope with this. Ray Chan tried to cope with the fear of the new enemy, but he didn't want to die. Even though he was the Guildmaster and the Sword Lord, he ran away in terror. However, the Plague Lord did not let this foolish mortal go. He doesn't want to let anyone out of this dungeon. The attack that was supposed to catch up with him could have taken many lives, but at that moment, our hero, Kang Yu-sung, intervened. When the soldiers saw him, they immediately realized that they were saved. After all, in this world, he is the Hero King. His power is incredible, but almost no one knows what it is. After all, he usually fights alone and doesn't show it to anyone. Under the watchful eye of many, our hero uses normal attacks, which is why the Plague Lord decided that he could deal with him without any problems. He deflected Khan's sword and then dragged him into the ocean of plague. Maria was very scared for him, not understanding how he would be able to get out. Our hero dared to attack the Plague Lord alone. The foolish Hero King, the hope of humanity. He must drown here. But Khan, on the contrary, thanked his opponent, because before this he could not allow others to see his strength, and now he won't have to worry about it, because no one will notice anything. The rest saw only how the plague ocean burned with blue flame. The warriors can only guess what forces did this, but the most important thing is that they won this raid. The outcome couldn't be any different when the team is King Hero, Season 5, Origin of the Plague Lord, is over. All players who participated in the raid were awarded a random equipment card. The top 100 were given an ability card above rare level, and the top 10 were given an artifact card above hero level. Our hero, having defeated the boss, received legendary equipment, Black Death, and the title of Lord's Killer. They prevented the end of the world again. Once again, their world gained an extra year of life. Khan has been ranked first for 4 seasons in a row, has the best tower raid record, and has the highest level. He has superior equipment, abilities, and the most achievement points. Kang is a Hero King. He is shown on TV. Toys and other merchandise with his image are sold. Everyone knows him, the man who once again saved people. The host asked Khan, as a representative of all the assembled heroes, to say a few words to the audience. Maria, knowing how taciturn he was, asked him to say something good, even if he didn't want to. They are shown on TV after all, and it's not difficult. 10 of the season's best players gathered in the interview room at the UN Forum in Geneva. At the end of each season, they are usually asked to share stories of how they heroically risked their lives and made history by saving the world. However, our hero is not going to pretend, because he was trying not for the sake of peace, but for the sake of money, which he stated. This statement shocked everyone, because it breaks the generally accepted image. Although he saved the world, he no longer owes anyone anything, including playing a hero on camera. Khan has not been interested in anything other than money for a long time now. One day, the world turned into a game. Towers of various sizes began to appear everywhere. They hung over the cities, darkening the skies. After some time, monsters began to emerge from them, killing everyone in their path. Everyone was waiting for the end of the world to come. People had no hope of salvation. Suddenly, players emerged from the crowd. Then, some people began to have hope. These warriors hunted monsters and protected people. Over time, this activity became their full-time job. The world around began to live by new rules. Tower invasion. The phenomenon where monsters appear from towers can be prevented. To do this, You need to raid the towers during a certain period of time. This is how players with superhuman powers and the ability to raid towers became heroes of the new world. And the phrase that Can was trying for money has already spread all over the internet. He also asked people to buy his t-shirts and posters so that he could earn more money. The country's community of players formed naturally as the world gradually turned into a game, and was called the Players' Forum. Here, players share information about raids and can trade items. Some fans found our hero's official profile. Although he doesn't understand how they knew it was him, they write to him asking to join their team or just talk in person. And journalists even promise to wait at his home. However, Can can't stand such attention. Complete strangers don't give him a break. Journalists are always pestering me with questions about the latest news and asking me to comment on the next season. They are also interested in the fact that he has long been interested only in money, and whether this motivation will remain next season. But according to Khan, the stars who appear on television are drunkards who cause nothing but problems. But he will repay all viewers with good entertainment. No one really understood his answer, but it was impossible to ask further questions. The ground beneath their feet began to shake. The creation of towers has begun. This is the beginning of the 6th season, the Endless Labyrinth. Players can enter the active towers after reading the information on the gates below them. Soon, a dungeon will appear and flying towers will land on Earth. To protect the world from destruction, you need to raid the towers. Our hero arrived at his destination. There weren't even any rats left. The first day of the season is always quiet. Most of the rulers are happy to see the clown ruler performer. The iron ruler laughs heartily and gives a blessing to the one who has renounced his sword. The ice ruler chuckles and gives a blessing to the one who brought the mirror. Khan's aptitude for swordsmanship and ice magic has increased exponentially. Today and then in the UN hall, everything was not in vain. Our hero did everything for the sake of rewards from the enlightened ones who call themselves rulers and watch over the players. The golden and legendary ruler laughs hysterically and gives his blessing to the one who chooses legends. This effect will allow Kanu to significantly increase his luck for 3 rounds and receive a legendary level reward. Unlike abilities and items, titles are retained after the season ends. Our hero can't wait to unlock the legendary level reward. This is the blessing of the one who chooses legends that greatly influences the player of the gacha game. He got a black coat with gold trim, golden fanaticism, which gives a good increase in defense. This coat was given to a deeply loyal knight who found himself in danger due to an attack by a Gallian elf. With a legendary defensive item, ability, and heroic level artifact, you can enter the tower. The golden and legendary ruler blessed his t-shirt business. Having put on the cloak, our hero went to the Blood Moon Tower with the 3rd level orcs, where the maximum number of floors is 5. He faces non-stop battles, and in the end, he will have to defeat the boss, the Blood Moon Singer, on the very top floor. It's time to test the abilities of the heroic level. Our hero has created an ice sword. While using the ability, the player cannot equip weapons. However, when this ability is activated, the ice sword is considered equipped. Its compatibility with the ice sword has been increased, and an additional cold breath effect has been added. It attacks like a powerful snowstorm, affecting a large number of enemies. The orcs who were about to attack Khan were all frozen at once, and our hero, after the victory, received a level increase, and along with it, an increase in strength, agility, and intelligence. Thus, without much effort, he cleared the 1st floor. It's a good start. Maybe he should try saving the world again. Having climbed the stairs, our hero found himself on the 2nd floor. There, he saw a group of orcs around a fire, drinking beers straight from the barrels. However, as soon as they saw our hero, they immediately dropped their drink. A warrior has come to them who will send them to Valhalla. The time has come to fight with honor and die. Our hero is not at all against hearing this from the enemy. Let them wait just a little while, and he will show them what heaven looks like. Khan easily dealt with the 2nd and 3rd floors. It's good that his level increases with each victory, but it's a bit difficult to fight without a break. The 4th floor is next. There, the guards blocked his way to the chambers of their commander. Great way to show who the elite mobs are here. They will also fight with honor and die. The Iron Ruler blessed the guards. After the Iron Ruler granted them a blessing, their strength and fighting spirit increased. They are walking towards the warrior who will send them to Valhalla. During the battle, The orcs decided to sing a song of blood made of steel for the Iron Ruler. They won't let our hero catch his breath. Can used his cold breath again, hoping to stop his opponent. However, these orcs are a cut above the previous ones, and such a trick won't work on them. To defeat them, you will have to put in a little more effort. The Frost Sword strikes don't do much damage. Elite warriors have resistance to Ice Chi energy. Our hero needs to deliver a precise killing blow, but at the moment he does not have the appropriate ability. Just recently he received a legendary item, and in addition, a heroic level ability and artifact. He has never encountered anything like this before, so he doesn't know if he can handle it now. The Ice Heart, which grants glacial synergy to gear, enhances the effects of frost attribute abilities. It cannot be used by those who do not possess ice magic. There is a risk of turning into an ice statue, but now is not the time for doubts. So our hero decided to introduce the artifact. Everything went well. The powerful energy of cold magic is felt, and the synergy of the glacier is obtained. The effects of equipped ice attribute ability cards have been increased. All the fatigue disappeared as if by magic. Who needs a gold spoon when there is a whole cave full of gold? The orcs were not at all bothered by this. In the end, everything would end in war. In addition to the frost sword, an ice shield was added to the second hand, capable of withstanding blows from enemy weapons, after which comes the ideal moment for a counterattack. The place where the frost sword pierces freezes to the bone. After killing the elite mob, our hero's level is increased again. His frost sword has become much larger, allowing him to reach his target more easily. With each kill, Khan's level increases more and more. It continues to grow, and with it, the volume of strength, mana, and other indicators. Our hero decided that he had dealt with this floor too. However, the system is silent, which means he missed someone. He just had to deal the final blow. The clearing of the elite floor is complete. Our hero's level has increased significantly. For this, he received a special reward, a set of random ability cards. But Khan received a normal ability, although he was counting on at least a legendary level. Better than nothing. Any ability can come in handy. Walking a little further, our hero met the owner of an automated store. She greeted him and noted that it was an achievement that he was not dead yet. After all, while he's alive, he can sell a ton of items and spend achievement points, so it's more profitable not to die. The girl offered our hero to buy a set of cards from her. Maybe he'll even get a legendary one. However, Khan will not rely on luck. He decided to take the potion of speed and fire. After this, our hero hurried away, because this merchant was terribly annoying. Finally, Khan reached the 5th floor, the floor of the boss, the Blood Moon Singer. The enemy is very strong and easily broke through our hero's defense. Compared to him, it feels like he was fighting dwarves before, not orcs. Our hero used a fire potion, but it wasn't particularly dangerous for such a giant. But it distracted attention, and Khan managed to run behind his opponent. He used one of the most effective attacks of the Ice Sword, improving it. Our hero managed to inflict a serious wound on the orc boss. With a blessing, even a normal level ability becomes very useful. However, the Blood Moon Singer activated Berserker mode. Well, if the game were simple, our hero would get bored. The shockwaves from his attacks are already very powerful, and a direct hit would likely finish off Khan immediately. While our hero dodges, he counts down, and just as the time was up, the Blood Moon Singer was defeated and the floor was cleared. For capturing the tower, he received a reward, a set of item cards and a special achievement, the First Conqueror. It's too good to be true, as this is the best reward you can get in the 3rd level tower. But our hero again received items of the normal level. He received ice arrows. The damn game always fools him. Afterwards, he went to the 3rd level tower of the Demon Worshippers, which allows from 1 to 16 players. There, he was attacked by monsters that looked like little demons and was called a filthy pagan. There are so many of them that ice arrows come in handy, as they have low damage but wide reach. For killing them, our hero upgraded his abilities even more. Ice arrows convert cold from the atmosphere into an arrow, and the glacial synergy effect increases damage and projectile count. Ice arrows have increased in level, and the second wave is about to begin. More devils came out to Kanu, begging the Demon King to send them to hell. However, let them get in line. because that's where our hero will send them. He used a freezing wind and turned the entire crowd into ice statues, after which he broke it, for which he received an increase in the level of his ice sword and ice arrows. The boss of the demon cult tower has appeared to deal with the vile pagan. He intends to present our hero's blood to the demon king. However, he himself did not go into battle first, but sent his henchmen. Our hero cast a freezing effect on the entire demon cult. Glacier's synergy effect increases damage and projectile count. It's good that Khan came here. It will be possible to study the abilities, continuing to improve the ice arrows. Our hero will be able, for example, to find out the maximum number of ice weapons, which he can create at the current level, and also to practice on such a large number of opponents. Kanu had no trouble dealing with the boss. He even seemed a bit weak to him. After this, he was credited for clearing the tower and received a reward, a random equipment card. He got the silver armor. Khan already has the legendary item, so it's useless. Our hero received a notification about a meeting with his shadow. One of the tower's factions is very interested in him. Meeting a faction is a special event. You can join any faction, take on tasks from them, and receive better rewards. Our hero is surrounded by a shadow council, and now he is given a choice and a chance to establish ties with the faction. One of them said that he remembered our hero and asked if he wanted to meet the shadow again and join them. The shadow council is not bad. Khan was already with them in Season 5, but he didn't want to make a deal right now. There were more than 2 factions here that could fight them. The council offered shelter and reminded them how strong they were, but that is precisely why our hero wants to come to an agreement with them. Although words alone cannot achieve what you want, he asked for a shadow beast. And since they were already here, let them also give him a rare dark ability card. He was asked not to overestimate himself. In this world, mortals are not worth that much, but Khan said they were crap and asked them to never cross paths again. After everything he's done, they can't even give him that. But after our hero refused to bargain and was about to leave, the council immediately gave him a shadow beast. For this, Khan received the Meow achievement, as well as 100,000 achievement points. This shadow beast has the shape of a kitten, making it seem like our hero now has a little pet. The council also provided a rare Shadow Blade card, which suits our hero just fine. After that, he joined the Shadow Council faction. His relationship with the faction improved. Our hero has a feeling that this season will be good, but you need to decide whether to move on or stop there and keep what you have. As soon as our hero left the tower, people started calling out to him on the street. Every time it's the same thing. Journalists constantly follow him and ask him about his achievements. On the very first day of the season, he visited 2 third-level towers and took first place. But what can one say here? Apparently, Khan is simply a capable and incredible player. The Chinese Sword Lord has entered the 4th-tier tower, and players are increasingly participating in raids this season. Our hero was interested in this, and he asked the journalist how many people were with him. 5 veterans of the Chinese Communist Guild went with the Sword Lord, but 4 had already died. But Khan understands that the whole point is that his ability uses them as human shields. After this, the journalists pressed him even harder, trying to find out whether Khan knew that the Sword Lord knew about the fate of his comrades. After clearing the area, the Sword Lord entered the 5th-level tower, alone this time. So energetic on the very first day, no need to compete in speed at the beginning of the season. Everyone knows that the Saint first collects abilities and items, and the Gravekeeper has no plans to participate in the game yet. It looks like the Sword Lord in the 4th-level tower has received some good items, but to all the journalists' questions, our hero answered that the Sword Lord was an idiot. Everyone is wondering if they are going to compete. But as everyone knows, Khan is also an idiot. If I had to choose between being a loser or a winning idiot, I'd rather be the latter. Therefore, our hero goes to the 5th-level tower, to which the journalists, of course, accompany him. Only one will gain the glory of the winner. It will be a fight for self-esteem. People start placing bets. Most of them bet on Khan, including the Ice Ruler. There's clearly a Sword Lord inside. It's time to enter the war tower and play for real. The evil empire of Kabbalists began a war of conquest and arrived in the territory of the Kingdom of Lodea, having increased its military power in advance. Our hero must fight a historic battle, capturing or defending the palace fortress, and is asked to choose a side. The communist fights for the empire, but Khan would have chosen the kingdom's side anyway. The game rewards those who are at a disadvantage more. Our hero was moved to the fortress of Palace. The knights of the kingdom were delighted that they had a player. They cried because God had mercy on them. Their kingdom is in a disadvantageous position, so one can't help but be glad that someone has come to save them. Khan found them developing battle tactics. Judging by their equipment, they were already getting ready to fight. Our hero sat down at the common table and decided to find out who was in charge. But immediately after this question, the knights' faces changed. The commander of the fortress defense palace entered the room, noticing how careless their guest was. He asked our hero to follow court customs in his presence. However, Khan does not consider this to be so important at this moment. The main goal is to win the fight. They may lack military might, but the strength of spirit of the kingdom's people is unmatched. The commander is confident that their young fighters will never lose. He continued to talk about how they would have easily won even if the empire had 10 times more people. But such speeches are unacceptable in a losing situation. So now our hero will be the main one. The first thing he decided to do was hold a meeting and find out how many units there were and what class they were. 5,000 mobilized peasants, 900 of whom know how to use a bow. Compared to the empire, their difference in military power is huge. The good thing is that there is no magic in this world. Besides, the Sword Lord does not possess the power of fire. He is the heir of the Iron Ruler. Most players can only sign a contract with one ruler and receive rewards from only one ruler. Khan is a special case. He is awarded by different rulers. The Clown ruler made him a solo player. On the other hand, a ruler can take several players under his wing, but only one will receive special benefits as his heir. Rulers do not cease to support their elected representatives, but there are certain prohibitions. In the case of the Sword Lord, his primary abilities should not be related to the Iron Ruler in any way. There is a chance of victory, but the fighters clearly feel pressure that is incomparable to our hero. It is unknown how real the worlds and the towers are. There is no way to know whether they are real living people or a creation of the tower. But whoever they are, it is important now to raise their morale. The knight announced our hero to the others, also informing them that the head of the division house was no longer their commander. The soldiers' spirits were lifted when they learned that Khan had dealt with that pig. God had not abandoned them. Now our hero has nothing to worry about. The archers reported that the empire had begun its offensive. Having placed ladders against the wall, the enemy soldiers began to try to get inside the fortress. If our hero deals with them, the enemy's morale will weaken. Khan decided to give the shadow beast a name. Now this kitten is called Darkness. He asked Darkness to show everyone his power. Since there is no magic in this world, the enemy army was confused when they saw something large and dark appear on the fortress wall. Their commander tried to calm them down, but he himself could not explain what happened next. Dark One penetrated into the very heart of the crowd, after which he launched his dark needles in all directions. The surviving warriors tried to escape, but our hero stopped them by turning them into ice statues. Darky is probably hungry, and bon appetit. Ordinary warriors have no chance against such a force. But there is no trace of the Sword Lord here. When a player shows up, there is no telling how it might end. On the one hand, his presence increases the morale of his allies. On the other, he reveals his location to the enemy. However, no one risks their life. According to the rules, if one player defeats another, the loser is thrown out of the tower. He fails the raid. In the tower, the players cannot kill each other, but the towers themselves are able to. Our hero won't die in this tower, but that doesn't mean he can lose. Perhaps Khan realized what the Sword Lord was up to, but he had a plan for that too. By evening, many defeated enemy soldiers lay down in front of the fortress, but the Lord of the Sword never showed up, as if Kanu would have to kill everyone to get to him. The swords flying towards the fortress move on their own. This is the sword control technique. It looks like the Sword Lord has finally shown up, and he's so lucky he got a card with a strong ability, or perhaps the Iron Ruler himself gave it to him. He prepared well while he was hiding. But our hero didn't waste his time either. The Sword Lord was late, as Khan had finished leveling up. Now he can create a shadow blade from his own shadow. The knights saw that there was now a player on the Empire's side. They came for our hero. The tide of battle has changed. But it would be foolish to expect that this will break Khan. The precision of sword control technique is inversely proportional to the number of swords, and there are a huge number of them circling above our hero. That's why it won't work on him. During raids, he collected many different cards, including some for defense. Seraphim's shield repelled the enemy's attack. The Sword Lord didn't expect this, but our hero won't be able to repeat it yet. After all, the shield is used up and the recharge time is 168 hours. But it is unlikely that the enemy hoped to capture the fortress with only this equipment. To maintain the Empire's victory in this tower, he will have to defeat our hero. Even if the Sword Lord destroys the fortress and all the scum of the kingdom, the Empire won't win until this communist deals with Khan. He knew this, but still chose them aside to defeat our hero. The player is a hero, and the hero's calling is to protect the world. A scumbag who is unable to understand this has no right to be called a hero. This is why the Sword Lord does not recognize Khan, because of his beliefs, and wants to defeat him. However, the world he protects is not only made up of members of his country's guild. The Sword Lord did not talk anymore. He wanted our hero's death to be terrible. However, Khan would like to live a long life, so it will not be his opponent who decides. Our hero deftly dodged the attack, after which he immediately responded with ice arrows. The Sword Lord was angry that Khan was using dirty tricks against him, but while saying this, he didn't even suspect that darkness had climbed behind his back. The rulers are watching their fight, so they must understand the burden of defeat here. However, there is no need to remind him of this, because this is why K fights. Immediately after this, our hero hit the enemy. It was mean because he spoke to him in order to hit his weak spot. And immediately after that, Kang surprised the Chinese player by jumping onto the battlefield. He actively participated in the battle from the very beginning, not because he wanted to show how dangerous he was or to encourage the soldiers. The Empire's soldiers were frightened when they saw a player approaching them, and the Sword Lord ran after him, hoping to stop him. However, I got confused at the beginning and lost time, so I fell behind. In the Imperial Army barracks, the soldiers discussed ways to stop this monster, but could not come up with any. The Duke of Barmouth even began to blame their player for the current situation. But immediately after that, an uninvited guest showed up. Our hero found their location. There is another way to complete the tower's task. The soldiers tried to protect their leader, but they were no match for Khan's strength. Our hero killed their entire gang in a short time. The Sword Lord ran to the scene when everything was already over. Our hero suggested that it would be better if his opponent dressed up the officers and hid them among the soldiers. But what could be done? Khan was simply obliged to take away the Empire's advantage from him. After this, the Chinese player became very angry and wanted to attack our hero. However, he was already credited with completing the Battle of Palace. Having lost its leader and all its commanders, the Empire's army decided to retreat. As a reward, our hero is asked to choose one of the loser's ability cards. Thus, he now also has the ability to control swords. This angered the Lord of Swords even more. Perhaps in the future, he will try to take revenge, but this doesn't frighten our hero. The second season began, and Khan found himself in a familiar place. In this place, the child of 1,000 faces and 1,000 abilities can become a hero. Our hero waited for this day to make the same choice again. He will become a hero among heroes, but other people will stop understanding him. The irony is that they will not only stop understanding him, but will start ridiculing him. This was repeated countless times. The clown ruler and Kang Yu-sung made a contract. Our hero woke up from a knock on the door. A friend came to see him, thus interrupting another restless sleep. Kan opened the door to find out what brought this humble fellow to his abode. This man's name is Pak The-shik, better known as Mr. Pak. After making a contract with the assassin ruler, he became known by his game alias, Sword Slayer. He is among the top 30 players. Moreover, he is the head of the National Intelligence Department of the Blue House. Pak's appearance is rather tired. Since the first day of the season, war fans around the world have been singing the praises of war to all players. But as soon as Pak entered the apartment, he immediately tripped over the trash that Khan had scattered. Like a madman, he sells t-shirts to go, but lives like a pig, works like a horse for money, and gets food from a nearby restaurant. Our hero met this old man before the world became a game. At 15, they went with their friends to a computer club owned by Mr. Pak. Seeing a genius guy who was good at any game, He invited him to become a cyber athlete. Previously, Can played for fun, but Park helped convince his parents and trained our hero, analyzing his abilities. When he turned 18, he officially debuted as a professional player. And at the same time, an invasion from the tower happened, and the first season of The End of the World began. Our hero, like other people, was completely confused by what was happening. After all, their city was attacked by real monsters that should not exist in this world. And while he was trembling like a frightened kitten, Mr. Pack fought as best he could. But it wasn't just the monster that scared Khan that day. After all, it was on that day that he lost his parents. Of course, he blamed himself for being so weak and helpless. But that day, he also found his one and only hero. Since then, Mr. Park has become a friend and mentor to Kong. On this day, he came to visit him because of the association. Kai, the State Players Association, is the only all-powerful guild in the country that governs players. This organization built an academy last season, which is also called a slave factory by ordinary people. The first final exam will be held there in a week, and they asked our hero to be present. Can agreed that it would be good to look at new players who would take on the burden of caring for the country's future. He just set a condition that the final exam be moved to tomorrow, at 5 in the morning. The students recognized him. They heard that he was their judge, and they were also confident that winning was not necessary. They would graduate anyway. They just don't understand why it was necessary to call them so early. The school administration is pleased to hear the opinion of one of its most famous heroes about its graduates. Khan was called to assess the pride of their academy, the first generation of students. Our hero's condition was also that he would test their strength himself. Therefore, the final word about the release also remains with him. Khan does whatever he wants, but the head of KAI thinks his plan is perfect. It's only the beginning of the season. The students have kept to their schedule perfectly, and even the Hero King can't ruin anything. However, it did not take long before KAI head Lee Seon-ho became disillusioned. Our hero failed one student after another. The last remaining girl thought that she had also failed, but Kan informed her that she had passed. However, he attributed the reason to simple luck. She was the luckiest of the 12, as she held out until the end. It's worth remembering that luck is everything for a player, so Khan congratulated her on her release. Lee Seon-ho burst in to see what was going on. However, our hero realized that these were the children of executive directors, or were somehow connected to them. He realized that he had been called to evaluate their progress, to gather information. But you shouldn't give them places they don't deserve and use them for your own purposes. Lee Seon-ho believes that a player is just a weapon in the hands of the country, and they are not treated differently anywhere. They simply do everything necessary for the well-being of the country. In today's world, they only need war heroes. The head of KAI will continue to chatter, but his colleague called out with bad news. A recording of this speech has already leaked online, and it appears the Players Academy will close after a year of operation. It was worth remembering that Khan was supported by the head of the National Intelligence Department. Our hero's provocation points have increased many times over. The clown ruler admired the contractor's actions, and Khan also received a gift from him. After that, he left the building and met with Mr. Pack. The situation will not create problems because the government does not like them either. The government and the academy are always at odds with each other, and since Pak was still here, our hero decided to ask him for a ride to the 5th level tower. This time, he will go to the Tower of the Pale Desert. A guard mission awaits him, as well as a hot and cold journey through the desert. Our hero moved to the camp of the desert oasis. When entering the tower, the player always finds himself in the thick of things, and this case is no exception. As a savior, he appears at the perfect time. This helps the player look even more impressive. Using the sword control he received from the Sword Lord, he quickly got rid of all the enemies. He told people that he was on their side. He didn't care what they called him. It seems that these people believe in the God of Light. And in this world, Khan became the messenger of light. Our hero has a bad feeling, but people said that this is the territory of the Divine Kingdom. Therefore, there is no need to worry about attacks by pagans, and the group is not far from its destination, a maximum of 3 days' walk. Khan knew that he needed to rest more. He came to this tower driven by emotions. He suggested making a stop and getting some sleep, because as long as the Hero King was with them, the monsters weren't scary. In this situation, Our hero relies on the necklace of life force. This rare accessory slightly increases health regeneration speed. He also remembered that he had received a gift from the ruler's clown and decided to open it now. Received a top-tier growth stone, an item for the hero rank. Finally, something worthy. But our hero won't need it now, so it's worth saving it for later. It's time to feed darkness. It's a hassle, of course, but you can't trust everything to your spirits. The blades move at the command of his thoughts, a very useful ability he has acquired. In addition, by killing small monsters, our hero increases his ability to control swords. After all the scorpions had been destroyed, an adult sand predator appeared. Our hero is of course disappointed by this. After all, it looks like the night's sleep is over. Khan sent darkness forward. He also directed his blades at the sand predator. Our hero gets pleasure from the fact that he can reach any place on his own without moving. By defeating him, he increased his ability to create an ice sword and control swords. As soon as the day came, our hero and his group set off on their journey. He will probably need to escort this group to their destinations safe and sound. However, among them were brave warriors serving God. But last night they were nowhere to be seen. It seems that their priority is to protect the goods, so even in such a situation, they did not abandon the carts. Our hero assumed that they were translating the golden calf, but their leader asked the messenger of light to ignore the carts and concentrate on the task that God had entrusted to him. But after these words, our hero became even more curious about what goods required such a level of protection. They were attacked again, but it looked like it wasn't by monsters this time. Our hero managed to use the shield, but it is not able to cover everyone. A group of heretics set their sights on their carts and first launched arrows at them. Evil dissenters who dared to invade the territory of the sacred kingdom. The enemy strikes and retreats. Our hero is interested in how the knights plan to respond to this. The commander ordered everyone to remain in position and activate mono shields. It seems that they don't care about their companions, so let them protect their golden calf themselves. Kanu received a notification that the raid's goal was to protect the caravan and deliver the items safely. Halfway to the archer, our hero stopped with an ice spear in his hands. The enemy was calm, thinking that the attacks would not reach him, which turned out to be a mistake. After this, our hero quickly closed the distance, creating an ice dagger along the way. But he was very surprised that this guy was a desert elf. Seeing this, our hero immediately stopped. At the same time, he stopped the arrows fired by his comrades. The guy decided to attack him at that moment, but Khan easily stopped him. Our hero decided to find out from the attackers what exactly was in that cart. He asked the others to ignore him and shoot their bows. His comrades listened and immediately released many arrows, but Khan easily repelled them again using his shield. He needs to know what's in the cart to decide which side to take. It is not worth thinking that he has not yet ground them all into dust just because he does not have the strength. Now this elf understood what would happen to his comrades if Khan even lifted a finger. Our hero asked the same question again, but asked what kind of things were there, after which the desert elf let it slip that one cannot call their princess a thing. It turns out that their princess was kidnapped. Khan asked the guy to return and tell her that he will do a special favor for his people. You have to agree, because it's better to get another chance than to die here. Immediately after the elf boy ran away and led his people away, a knight ran up to Kanu to find out why he let them go. Our hero replied that he first needed to make sure of something, and headed straight to the cart. Their leader didn't want to let him through, but Khan asked him to leave while they were asking nicely. Our hero finally looked inside and saw exactly what he expected. He told the princess directly that he could save her. However, the sympathy of some non-believers seems to offend her. The ruler of light issued a warning to the player regarding his actions, asking him not to neglect his duties. But Khan completely ignored this notice and cut the chains that bound Princess Saria. In doing so, he fulfilled the hidden condition of saving the princess and received 300,000 achievement points. The tower level has been increased from 5th normal to 5th hard, and one of the tower's powers has turned against our hero. He will have to pay for disobeying the light. The light keepers have appeared. This also inspired the knights, and they are ready to go against the alien, because now he is a heretic who has challenged the light. They became so emboldened with the arrival of reinforcements. But Kana also has someone to support him. The ruler of shadow supports his decision, because away with the light and let there be darkness. The Shadow Council granted our hero a buff, a veil of absolute darkness to envelop the world in. Khan knew that on this side they gave out better rewards. The Light Keepers were surprised, but they are not that weak either. The light they emitted tried to dispel our hero's shadow attack. However, nothing came of it. But the caretakers didn't have time to take the next step. Our hero reached them. They can't believe that a pathetic mortal would dare to do something like that. Now, the faction of the Light Keepers feels an irreversible hostility towards our hero. While the Shadow Council's goodwill has been greatly increased, and Khan is being watched by countless factions in the tower. The world of towers and the world inside the towers are not the same thing. Knights and elves are creatures from the tower. They are a component of its world. However, the rulers and their forces are on a higher level, representing the world of the towers themselves. The player is a mediator between the two worlds. He is the force that allows the ruler to interfere in the world of the tower. However, the players are not pathetic puppies who unquestioningly carry out the will of the ruler. Inside the tower, players can make their own decisions, as Khan predicted in the Shadow Council that he would be better rewarded when he rebelled against the light. If you have an idea, there is no need to doubt, because even rulers cannot resist the laws and prohibitions that bind them. No matter how much the Light Watchers hate him and sharpen their teeth, as long as they are in the 5th level tower, angels above the 8th level cannot descend here. The Veil of Darkness buff wears off at the end of the fight, so Khan decided to deal with the princess first. Our hero took her away from the minions of light. He decided to entrust darkness with protecting the princess. Before this, I used a top-tier growth stone on it. The Sand Elf princess began to panic as she saw the approaching light. But immediately after absorbing the stone, darkness increased in size and protected them. Having made sure that the pet could cope with the task, our hero ran forward. The enemy is confident that the mortal blade will not be able to touch them, but underestimating your opponent is always dangerous. Although close combat with them throws Khan off balance, it feels like you'll have to move around forever. The Light Keepers are very fast, even under debuff. Then our hero decided to stop, because jumping around everywhere was damn annoying. To deal with them all at once, Khan intends to use something, but the Keepers of the Light have no intention of allowing him to do anything. Our hero tried to catch the sword that was knocked out of his hands, and at that moment, a sword of light pierced him from behind. At this moment, the enemy decided that victory was his. The others also thought that this was their chance. The Light Keepers immediately rushed towards our hero to tear him to pieces. It was a trick. Our hero used a map that helped him cheat death and initialize the location of the Sword of Light. The enemy tried to stop the allies, seeing that something strange was happening. But it was too late. Our hero used his abilities, creating ice swords and controlling swords to destroy all the enemies nearby. He created a hurricane of icy blades that seemed impossible to dodge. At the end of the battle, the buff was removed, and our hero had increased his level quite a bit in this fight. All the enemies fell to the ground. Some of the knights are still alive, but are unable to continue the fight, and darkness shrank and returned to his master. Princess Syria became curious as to why the alien had betrayed his people and gone so far for her. Our hero doesn't like people, and besides, there's a greater reward on the dark side. So the princess did not receive a clear answer to her question, and she herself did not really understand what had happened. Dark One did an excellent job. Now they can move towards the Elven settlement. A few days later, our hero and the princess reached the border of the Elven kingdom of Ayub. Now she is in his great debt. But Kanu still needs to receive his reward. Our hero certainly knows how to choose his words. As a reward, the princess gave him a pendant, a sign of A-rank trust. Its true value is unknown at this time, but it seems it will come in handy one day. So our hero completed the clearing of the Pale Desert Tower in hard mode. 4 hours earlier, Mr. Park told Kang that he needed to go to Busan. Nothing has happened there yet. But, he said, something will happen later. Natasha Ivanova, a world-famous criminal player, is known as one of the black players. Hiding from the Russian government, she illegally arrived in the port of Busan and began raiding the towers with 4 of her accomplices. She possesses a legendary ability card, Veil of Absolute Darkness, and it is this that our hero sets out to find. Pak received information about the tower that Ivanova's group had entered and ordered Khan to go there. Arriving at the scene, our hero saw a zombie apocalypse tower in survival mode. The goal of the raid is to survive until the appointed time. 5 players have already entered the tower, One place remains. Khan knew that nothing normal could be expected from a 5th-level tower, but the especially hungry infected looked disgusting. It might be wrong to call it a zombie. It looks more like a mutant or a monster. Our hero was the first to send forward his pet, Darkness. This gluttonous kitten is ready to eat anything. He changed his appearance, turning into a whale with a huge mouth, which he used to grab the ugly carcass. The growth stone changed him greatly, expanding his capabilities. And it was interesting to watch how this shadow pet turns into a whale. Natasha Ivanova showed up with her squad. She welcomed the hero of heroes to this tower. Natasha is a member of the Red Mafia, who is being persecuted by the Russian government. She illegally landed at the port of Busan with her accomplices, but Kang has no intention of arresting her. He just doesn't know what she's like, so they can relax for now. Assessing it on behalf of the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service is a rather ignoble task. Their gang intended to surround our hero and feed him to the zombies. Pak had already given all the information about them. It is known that in fact they are from Russian intelligence. But Khan is only interested in the rare ability that Natasha has. A fight began between the Russians and our heroes. The abilities of the tower world are quite capable of resisting firearms, so our hero is doing pretty well so far. However, Natasha Ivanova is not so weak either. Just as Khan was about to reach his target, the girl walked away from him. So quickly it seemed to evaporate before our eyes. In addition, we must not forget that there are 3 more shooters and a sniper with her. The Veil of Absolute Darkness debuff should affect them all, but the enemy can still shoot at the target. The reason for this must be something else. Our hero will need Darkness's help. The ice shield is too strong. The enemy decided to change tactics. However, they didn't have time to do anything. The shadow pet caught them in its trap. One of their allies ordered them to come out of the cat's shadow, which means they can see Darkling's shadow. Although that doesn't matter. Natasha Ivanova, deciding that the right moment had come, showed her face by sneaking up from behind. She's interested in the large number of points he received the other day for clearing a level 5 tower, probably on hard mode, after which I only walked along low-level towers. The same thing happened last season. First of all, she decided to get rid of the cat, but it was unlikely that she would be able to cope with Khan. After all, you can't kill someone who's not a real person. Natasha Ivanova's situation changed dramatically in a short moment. Our hero believes that from the very beginning, it was not a veil of absolute darkness. It was probably created to cloud Khan's perception, but it seems the ability only works with the enemy's perceptions. So this is a legendary rank illusion creation ability that allows you to manipulate what the target sees. This girl used the Oculus card from her inventory. Natasha is good at deceiving others, but it seems that this is not her strength. Now she will have to become food for the zombies. Their conversation was interrupted by a notification about the death of a player whose name was not written. The secret forces of a major organization in this world have discovered the presence of survivors. Their drone sent a notification to base about multiple survivors in Area B16, after which huge, terrifying cyborgs arrived to destroy them. Secret protocol is being observed. Another player has died. Our hero doesn't know if he can stop them. Maybe he should turn off the shield first. After this, the cyborg's attack was directed straight at Khan. At this rate, he could die in this tower. However, another character appeared next to them, noticing that 2 people had died without using their achievement points. This is the owner of the automated store. He pointed his finger at our hero and said that it was all his fault. To make amends, the merchant offered to buy Khan a set of cards. Then he would make an exception and let him through. However, our hero refused and suggested that he try to sell them to a girl, Natasha Ivanova. She has the most points after Khan, and he suggested that she spend them before she died. The merchant tried to lure her in by saying that if she suddenly landed a mythical card, there would be a chance to survive. It turned out that Natasha has the ability to acquire cards, so she decided to spend all 374,000 achievement points on decks with random abilities. Our hero sat nearby and watched as she opened one after another. Most of the cards she opened were common, but some of them were rare. Although that's not enough, our hero remembers the saying that the most fun thing to do is watch a house burn down. In the end, Natasha was unlucky. She didn't get the mythical, legendary, or heroic one. She still had 4,000 points left, and the merchant offered to buy a potion. After that, he switched to Khan, because given how many decks Natasha opened, there was a high probability that he might get lucky. The ruler of hell is shocked, and our hero is sure that he cannot support her here. Natasha is furious. She curses both Khan and the damned merchant. However, the arguments sound interesting, so our hero decided to buy one. He got the ice arrow ability again, but this time he can level them up to 2 stars. This is even better than the usual useless ability. The girl took out all her anger on Khan, but in Russian, so he couldn't understand anything. Meanwhile, the cyborgs are getting closer and closer, observing their secret protocol. Besides the fact that they came to exterminate the survivors, their task is also to destroy witnesses. Our hero quickly got rid of Natalia Ivanova, after which he quickly ran towards the enemy. His weapon is now capable of cutting off that metal head. Also, the combination of the Ice Blade ability and sword control will help deal with targets in the air. But this fight still won't be that easy. The cyborgs prepared for a powerful joint attack. But fortunately, our hero managed to successfully dodge it. It's amazing what resources the local pharmaceutical company has that started this zombie apocalypse. Once home, Kanu might want to buy shares in a pharmaceutical company, but not the one that is here now, but from my home world. Our hero's ice arrows were able to damage the cyborg's powerful plating, thus destroying them and clearing the zombie apocalypse tower, and as a reward, receive a random equipment coupon. As a reward for being the surviving winner, he may also take one of the losing player's ability cards. When the tower was cleared and the players found themselves in their world, the losers also returned, but battered. Our hero doesn't care at all whether they can escape or be arrested. He will simply abandon them and leave, and let Natasha go to her own people and tell them what an amazing hero the king is. Dead people don't talk, and Khan needs someone to convey this. Pak lectured him on how you can't just leave those who attack from a distance. However, our hero is not even interested in figuring out why they were pursuing him. Pak asked him to be careful on the way home and not to overexert himself. In turn, our hero thanked him for the work he had done. Player, alien, apostle. Inside the tower, the player is called by different names. The same thing here. Weapon, indicator of the level of military power. Living unbalanced technique. Hero. But the players aren't just heroes. They're warrior heroes, like Natasha Ivanova, who kill their country's enemies without hesitation. The government of his country wants him to become such a hero. But in today's world, there really is no such thing as a hero. Since early morning, Khan has been careless. He has to try to hide his face, avoiding the attention of passers-by. After all, he is a celebrity who attracts attention, as well as gossip and rumors. Some people think he's noble. Others think he's a cruel thug. But without him, their world would have ceased to exist back in the 2nd season. However, our hero was caught before he managed to get home. To avoid the journalists, he entered the nearest tower, the 5th level tower of sword and magic. Kan moved straight to the throne of the saint of this world. She thanked the warrior from another world for answering their prayers. This is Alicia Celestine, the 37th saint of the Holy Kingdom of Celestine. To tell Kanu how he can help, he first needs to tell him about the state of affairs on the continent of Philia. Apparently, there is a confrontation between light and darkness in this world. Demons from the underworld have begun to invade the world of light. After half an hour of her stories, Khan asked if it was time to go save the world. But Alicia said that she had only just begun her story. Our hero couldn't stand this history lesson, silently turned around and left. He goes to complete the task, but Alicia thinks that he can't do it. After all, he doesn't even know where the arch is yet, just like she herself. So the difference is small. A demon attacked them from above, right in the throne room, and they somehow managed to set foot on holy ground. The knights rushed to defend the saint of their kingdom. Our hero also did not stand aside. But neither divine magic nor the aura of the blade had any effect on this demon. Khan prepared for battle and asked the others to move away. However, Alicia is confident that they can help him too. The knights pulled their saint away and asked her to be careful. This girl cannot stand by and watch as the arriving warrior puts himself in great danger for them. Alicia and her people began to pray to the goddess and ask her to grant them her compassion. But our hero froze and trembled. His head suddenly began to hurt from the fact that the demon was sending him telepathic messages. The monsters promise that they will reach the arch, and then the world, filled with the light that they hate, will plunge into darkness. Therefore, they ask the outside warrior not to get in their way and just leave. There is no time to waste. We need to get to the arch as quickly as possible. Alicia can't believe that the end of their world is so close. But she has a hunch about the location of the arch. The saint quickly hurried to get ready for her journey. Our hero is glad that the development of events has finally accelerated. Darkness also got bored with her story, but he did a great job of imitating the demon's growl. Although now Canoe should hold off on using the shadow blade since he had resorted to this method. And Darkness must hide his thorns. Otherwise, Alicia will find out that Khan deceived her, just to avoid listening to boring stories. They arrived in the city of Garcia, a city with a labyrinth. But to get into the labyrinth, you need to get an adventurer's license. Our hero was given a ticket with his queue number, and while waiting, he could listen to Alicia's stories about this place. This city remains neutral and is located between the territories of the Holy Kingdom of Celestine and the Empire of Draga. As the name suggests, the city was built around an ancient underground labyrinth that is a land of opportunity. It was their turn. The administrator handed over the papers and asked them to sign, but Khan was confused by one point. No one is responsible for death in the labyrinth, and the body and property are transferred to the city for use. The girls said that they provide everyone with equal opportunities to find great luck in the labyrinth, and adventures go hand in hand with risk. Whether or not to accept these conditions is entirely the choice and responsibility of the adventurers. In the end, they had to sign the papers. But our hero and Alicia descended into the ancient labyrinth. Their journey started from the first level. They are fully prepared for battle. On the first level, monsters that looked like mutated rats awaited them. Our hero and Alicia fight well as a team. Khan stops, and the girl destroys with a long-range attack. So they reach the fifth level, descending surprisingly quickly. The saint's blessing magic is amazing. They also encountered adventurers who held back the magical beasts, thereby opening the passage further. Alicia is grateful to them, but this was probably their hunting ground, so they are glad that the strangers left. Our hero promised that she shouldn't worry too much about the demons. He would take her to the ancient weapon. But on the fifth level, they met a whole gang welcoming newcomers. The thug accused them of non-payment, and yet they still dared to go into the labyrinth on their own business. Every labyrinth worth its salt has such people, usually called bandits or adventurer hunters. Naive Alicia wanted to resolve everything without a fight, hoping to come to an agreement. Surprisingly, Kant supported the idea of talking. He began to tell the bandits a story about demons who were going to turn the world into ruins, and about the ancient weapons they were looking for. He said that he was a warrior from another world and was looking for him together with the 37th Holy Kingdom, Celestine. The bandits were at first perplexed and silent, but then they burst out laughing. This behavior greatly surprised Alicia. She was not used to dealing with such nasty people. Our hero didn't expect them to let him through, so he decided to deal with it his own way. He ran straight towards the bandits, grabbing the hand of one of them along the way. Their biggest one immediately pounced on him. He is not going to forgive such behavior. However, his axe, despite its size, flew off to the side. Then the leader of this whole gang showed her face, having come out to find out on what grounds someone was touching her people. Alicia recognized her as the administrator who had issued them adventurer licenses. Khan explained to her that the guild was in cahoots with bandits, and they were bringing in new players, and they forced them to count the value of their lives. And if they fail to pay, their bodies are sold. The woman is mistaken that the saint cannot end up in such a place, so she is not going to retreat. They should have thought earlier before entering the labyrinth territory. Our hero released Darkness, who enveloped everything around him in his shadow. This cute kitten cleared the way in no time. Alicia is shocked by what she saw, but to save the world, she must hold on and move on. She followed our hero silently. Khan suggested that they stop for the night and continue on their way in the morning. He noticed that the saint looked depressed after her encounter with the bandits. He guessed she wasn't used to facing the real world without her saintly title. She finds it difficult to come to terms with the idea that the world is about to be destroyed and people are fighting each other. Every world is the same. Not only this one, but also the world in which our hero lives is the same. Khan's hometown also went through several crises. They didn't have anyone like Alicia who knew what to do and stopped the unrest. He himself didn't get used to this right away, but somewhere around the third time he got used to it. One day, when he came to his senses, it seemed to him that everyone was only concerned with themselves. Then the saint became interested in who our hero was concerned about, and her suggestion made him laugh a lot. For some time, they sat by the fire in complete silence. which was strange because it was already high time. And finally, the owner of the automated store appeared, always offering his cards before the boss appeared. Our hero decided to see what else was on his list of goods. The usual cards that kept dropping were already annoying. A few days later, level 100, the demons tried to kill our hero because they were sure that they had to take the arch. Alicia and Darkness also fought to save this world. They continued to destroy the demons one after another, and Khan continued to level up. Killing stronger demons could also drop inventory, but Khan was already tired of all this. The demons seem to have timing issues. They keep appearing after he's already passed the test, but in the end, they both seem to have found what they were looking for, although it looks too simple for an ancient weapon. After Khan picked it up, he received a notification that he had received an arch fragment, and the labyrinth began to tremble. It was time to get out of this place, but on the way they were met by Imperial soldiers. Thanks to their efforts, the Imperial task of placing the arch will be easier to complete. The power of the arch must be in the hands of the Empire, in the hands of the first prince of the Empire, Draga. He intends to collect all the fragments, after which all demons will bow to his will. However, our hero is not going to give up his fragment, and is also glad that this prince himself brought him the second item from the quest. The script of this story has come to an end. The first principal of the Drag Empire and his loyal guards, the Black Guard, have come for the power of the arch. To support our hero, Alicia granted him a multitude of buffs to enhance magic, increase defense, and so on. Unwilling to back down, the Empire's first principal decided to use the arch's power at his disposal. As soon as he destroyed the fragment in his hands, he was enveloped in a dark aura and turned into some kind of huge mutant. As soon as Khan and Alicia obtained the fragment of the arch, the first prince of the Draga Empire and his armies stood in their way. To deal with the power of the saint and the player, Milva's Drago used the power of the arch fragment he had. The prince turned into a demonic monster, so our hero asked Alicia to refresh the buffs. He also used ice armor, earthquake, and fire potions. Prince Milvus was greatly surprised when the enemy vanished like smoke as soon as he was hit. The power has intoxicated him so much that he can't see anything. Our hero managed to strike from behind, causing a large amount of damage. Prince Drago lost all of his life points, causing him to fall to the ground. Immediately after defeating him, Khan received the quest item, the second fragment of the Ark. True, this scene reminded him of some third-rate mobile game. And yet, the perfect ending. Khan reached level 50 and can enter the Tower of Awakening. Our hero decided to give the ancient weapon he received to Saint Alicia. She doesn't think she's capable enough to have that kind of power, but it's better to use it yourself than to give the incomparable and dangerous power of the Arch to some idiots. From his own experience, Khan can say that madmen driven by such power destroy the world. Usually, they are like this precisely because of the burden of responsibility that has fallen on them. But the Saint of the Kingdom, Celestine, will not fight alone, and the Arch will help her in this. Our hero's words made Alicia feel much better, and that was the end of the clearing of the Tower of Sword and Magic. Khan only cleared one tower, and a whole week passed. He thought it would be a great break, but he got too carried away. Or maybe not. The internet is full of stories about his monster strength and amazing development speed. Several days later, our hero continued to run from journalists. They asked him to give their magazine a chance to record an interview with him, the Hero King. In an attempt to hide from them, Khan again entered the nearest tower, and it seemed he came across the Tower of Awakening. Our hero suggested to his mysterious interlocutor that they cut the nonsense and get straight to the test. The voice called him damn impatient. Despite his remark, this, let's call him examiner, was going to start anyway, right here and right now. The many mirrors surrounding Khan shattered into tiny pieces. The mysterious interlocutor took on the appearance of our hero, but only in a clown mask. A fight began between them, the enemy's attacks precisely matching Khan's. The mirrors reflected not only his appearance, but also all his abilities. This fake exactly replicates all the movements of our hero. Kang fights her every season, but he still feels uneasy. Our hero used the shadow card, but it didn't work. The enemy reflected the attack with an ice sword. Seraphim's shield reflects enemy attacks, and the blessing, he who has cheated death, deflects the instant fatal blow. In fact, everything is simple here. You can become a hero or a villain, Everyone decides for themselves who to be. There is no need to worry so much, because there is nothing in the world that can be taken seriously. Our hero knows a magic trick that will shut his opponent's mouth. He tore off the clown mask and put it on his face. But there is someone else who needs to be dealt with. The child with 1,000 faces and 1,000 talents will take on his new face and talent. Later, our hero ended up in the hospital. Mr. Park became worried and ran as quickly as he could to check on how Kang was feeling. Judging by the fact that our hero is as sharp-tongued as ever, he is already feeling better. But with a hole in his chest, he refuses to go to work. His wound is unusual. Not surprising, because his ruler is quite peculiar, so the awakening should have gone as usual. Awakening, available from level 50, has different types depending on the ruler. In Khan's case, as a reward for overcoming himself, he receives his own talent, all the cards and stats he earned so far. Pack gave him the task of finding the villain and beating him up, because he was sure that our hero was fine, and probably took a healing potion. Nowadays, a true villain is a rarity. We need to find a serial arsonist. This lunatic sets fires and enjoys the intoxicating screams. He likes it when ignorant people tremble. And he, as an honorary maestro, shows them the way with his outstanding art. Only the ruler of fire understands the art of this madman, and generously rewards Beck. He clearly sees the stupid people with their weapons who came to stop him, after which he hid in the tower. Our hero just arrived at the scene at that moment. He received information about the tower that the target had entered. The tower is a level 4 arena that allows up to 2 players. Beck entered it first. The goal in the tower is to win. This player is not a hero, but someone who sets the world on fire. He is an atypical psycho. Naturally, our hero followed him to the arena tower. He appeared in the very center of the audience's attention. Beck turned around pathetically to see what fool had dared to enter here against him. However, it was a surprise for him to see the country's coolest player. For some reason, Beck is confident that someone like the Hero King is capable of understanding the form of his art. But can't understand why the world is so full of such crazy people. The enemy used a special ability, Hellfire Orchestra, so that our hero does not dare to devalue his art, treating it as some kind of consumer product. Flutes and trumpets appeared in the arena, which, instead of music, breathe out tongues of flame. The peculiarity of creators is that they act alone, appearing out of nowhere. Beck used the kettle drum's ability, and something huge appeared above Khan's head. The enemy thought that our hero had fallen into his trap, but he easily destroyed it with his sword. This is not enough to catch him. It's time to end this performance. Although Beck is delighted, he can't believe he created such a masterpiece with the Hero King, but he was looking in the wrong direction. In front of him was only a residual image of Khan, and the real one was behind him. Despite this, Beck managed to dodge, and he also did not understand why the illusion could talk. Oculus is a legendary level ability that allows you to manipulate what the target can see. Visual information controlled by Khan is marked as an entity for 3 seconds and can have a physical effect. But our hero doesn't want to explain everything to him. He'll just gather a full hall in front of him, because this is this psycho's last performance. Beck was confident that his art would never die, after which he set another fire. However, he set fire to himself, so our hero immediately won the duel, and then 2 exits from the tower were offered. A player cannot kill another player inside the tower. He must at least finish him off at the exit. But first, he must choose the right one. Our hero decided to choose the Calais faction. The creator's special feature is sudden death in the faction. Khan's guesses turned out to be correct. Upon leaving the tower, he saw Beck, who was planning to escape. Of course, our hero won't let him do this. He used the ice ability to stop him. It was not possible to turn him completely into an ice statue, since he himself is the owner of firepower. But this was enough to stop Beck and close the distance. Our hero had gotten too close and was ready to deliver the finishing blow. However, he was stopped by Maria Jaeger, accompanied by members of her guild. She protected Beck with a shield and asked Khan to drop his weapon. Our hero became curious about what she was doing there and why she had come. Maria Jaeger is a saint of this world. She is the head of the Guild of the Order of the Knights of Salvation. The faction government asked them to assist in the investigation of the black player. They had been on alert ever since they received intelligence that the exit from the tower led here, but they can't let Kanu put a hole in this arsonist's stomach. Killing during arrest is only permitted under certain circumstances. Maria is a saint. She is convinced that revenge only breeds revenge. Just because this psycho acted like a monster doesn't mean Kanu should be like him. But our hero thinks that killing a black player is a mere trifle. And in Maria's opinion, such an act will lead to global consequences. Moreover, she believes that by doing this, she is not protecting the criminal, but Khan himself. Beck is caught, and that's the end of the incident. They'll get him where he needs to go, and our hero can go back and rest. In principle, nothing can be done. It's not like Khan won't be able to live if he doesn't kill this bastard, although it seems to him that he wasted his time by coming here. As soon as Maria's shield fell, our hero made one last attempt to reach Beck, but she was at a level enough to see that shadow, so she quickly returned the shield. Our hero again pretended to be resigned to yet another failed attempt, but Maria didn't expect that the Hero King's power was enough to destroy her defense. Immediately after this, Kana was surrounded by people who had come with the girl. They must know how many people died because of this madman. Among them, there were children. Beck did not deserve mercy. Black players destroy the world faster than towers, and whoever makes a hole in the belly of a monster does not become one himself. Maria put her hand on our hero's shoulder and told him that he was not a monster. But Mr. Pack was not particularly happy about this news. But he himself asked to kill the arsonist. Although he did not ask to kill in public, the faction government begs him to take Khan back. But our hero refused to return so soon, as he had his own personal matters, which he would talk about once he had resolved everything. Our hero hung up and then thanked Maria for her help. He is her debtor. Fulfilling her request is the least he can do, and there is no reason to refuse. He asked Maria to make herself at home, but she stood up and said that they would see each other in the morning in Paris. She is good at setting boundaries. The girl wished him good night and left without saying anything else. She didn't know if it was worth asking him for a favor. Next, our hero was faced with the 6th-level Revolutionary War Tower. According to the scenario, a revolutionary war and systemic clashes await him. The goal of the raid is to complete the scenario. He and Maria must protect the nobles of the king's faction from the revolutionary army. While riding in a carriage, Khan saw a bridge ahead and suggested blocking the path of the pursuers there. As soon as they reached him, they jumped out of the carriage, which drove on. To stop the enemy for sure, they destroyed the bridge behind the carriage. Khan and Maria were ready to attack, but the man opposite ordered them to cease fire in order to find out what the guests were doing there. After all, before this, they fought for the good of the revolutionary army and for the new world spirit. Only with the return of the saint can they win. But she doesn't fight for their righteous cause. She sides with the corrupt royal nobility. After this, our hero understood why Maria needed his help. This world was not her first. She first entered this tower through the 5th-level tower. Freedom, equality, unity. Mary fought with them without hesitation. The Great Revolution in their world had the same slogan, so it sounds familiar. Those who believed they were fighting for a just cause are now her enemies, so she feels like a hypocrite. The tower is restricted in access. Thinking ahead, they must be the winner to reach the level 6 tower and clear it, because if they are on their side, they will remain at the 5th level, which means they will do what they have to do and move on. The leader of the revolutionary detachment tries to get an answer from the dear guests, but our hero doesn't feel any attachments, so he attacked first. This is the last warning. The bridge is destroyed, so the revolutionaries had better retreat to avoid more bloodshed. But their leader cannot retreat. Even if he dies, he will die fighting. He ordered his men to put on their armor and get ready to use magic. They intend to fight to the last for freedom and equality. Khan and Maria dodged the first attack, after which Maria used various effects to strengthen and defend. Our hero appreciated their effectiveness. Everything slowed down, and the blessing of the holy armor was added. Our hero's powers and defenses have increased to a high level. Accordingly, the level of application of his abilities. Maria asked Khan to step aside and sort things out on his own. But after he used his ability, she stopped seeing anything. In this situation, Maria is completely useless. Obviously, it will be more difficult at level 6. Our hero asked the saint to activate her shield. She miraculously managed to repel the attack aimed at her. Maria asked our hero to lift the curtain of absolute darkness. Otherwise, she would not be able to fight, but she doesn't need it. Her mere presence already enhances the characteristics of the effects. Experience points are still divided equally, and thanks to her power, Khan dealt with the detachment of revolutionaries himself. Once everyone was defeated, The curtain of absolute darkness fell. Maria saw our hero riding on Temnish. He extended his hand to her so that she could also climb onto his back, because they needed to catch up with the pot-bellied king. It will all be in vain if the city they fled to falls. With the boost Maria gives, Khan will kill everyone for her. That's not why she asked him to help. But our hero is already in action. There is chaos on the city streets. Everything is burning. People are killing each other. By order of the iron-blooded Duke, the revolutionaries must dismember all supporters of the old system, even children. Maria is shocked by what she sees. She doesn't understand why revolutionaries don't leave the innocent. But such is any ideology. The same would have happened to the inhabitants of the city from which they fled. But the nobles fled first. The iron-blooded Duke's personal guard, the iron-blooded soldiers, block the way. Ironically, they are no longer revolutionaries fighting for a just cause, but simply murderers. But after a few minutes they were finished. Our hero used a curtain of absolute darkness, and soon the tower was cleared. After this, journalists tried to get Maria to talk about her raid with the Hero King. But our hero got right in front of the camera with his dirty jokes, which greatly embarrassed the saint. She got angry and asked Khan to shut his mouth, and his provocation statistics were growing at a staggering rate. The clown monarch lies on the floor clutching his stomach. The ghost monarch rewarded Khan with a ghostly set of cards, and the monarch assassin rewards a set of assassination skill cards, rare or higher, just like the previous ones. The Monarch Guide awarded our hero with a sixth sense of a guide. After his jokes, rumors started spreading on the internet. And now it's a bit too late to say that they're just friends. To this remark, Maria simply raised her eyes, full of anger and disappointment, and remained silent. The next tower they entered was the Tower of the Ice Dead. After what happened at the interview, their relationship remained tense for some time. Maria remained calm, but felt very angry that Khan had provoked gossip about their relationship. In the Tower of the Ice Dead, she did not let him fight, moved him aside, and went forward alone. After all, this idiot needed to cool off a little after a hot night together, and she probably needed to let off some steam. The two then conducted successful raids for a month, clearing one tower after another. And after it was time to say goodbye, Khan continued to behave carefree and joke about love. But even so, Maria is glad that she has a player she can trust. She wished him good luck on his journey and thanked him for everything he had done for this world. It's obvious, but still few people realize that working together is much more effective. However, national interests always come first. No one can be trusted. Suddenly, darkness spoke. It turned out that she had evolved a long time ago, but spoke only now. She was simply fed up with Khan's flirting with that woman. It would have been better if he had opened the set of cards that he had received as a reward. The two of them began to look at what would fall out, praying that a hero-level card would be among them. If the cards give so much, then once they open them all, they will become invincible. In this game, synergy and class are the most important. He has already received synergy, but never class. Finally, our hero got a class. When they return home, they will find some tower to test the new items. The next place where the Hero King was seen seemed strange to those around him. People couldn't understand what such a person was doing in a club in the middle of the day. Khan arrived at the scene to pick up his partner Ryun, and was told to arrive at 9 in the morning. But this idiot got drunk in the evening, and in the morning, he has a hellish hangover. Our hero said that he would count to 3, during which time his partner should get up and follow. But in response, Ryun started a showdown. He didn't like the fact that Khan was talking to him in that tone. Moreover, he did not forget to remind who his father is, which is why our hero should speak to him respectfully. But Khan grabbed this disappointment of a rich family by the hair and dragged him by force to the tower. His father hired our hero to go to the tower with his son, this season's promising newcomer. But it's hard to believe that this promising newcomer is this drunkard. According to rumors, he cleared the 3rd-level tower on his own. They entered the Butcher's Tower, and the first thing our hero did was throw his charge forward to see what he was capable of. Ryun fell right at the feet of the monsters, who were rejoicing at the fresh meat. They looked like a squad of butchers, holding first-class carving knives in their hands. The rich son dodges their attacks like a cowardly mouse. He asked our hero to stop lounging around and deal with these butchers, threatening Daddy. However, our hero does not listen to the advice of those who are weaker. This weakling has a first-class weapon, but he does not know how to use it. Those who do not know how to fight will meet a sad end. Khan used darkness, controlling shadows in the chosen area. He got rid of all the monsters at once, reminding the weakling that the best teacher is practice. After this, monsters that looked like bats flew at them from above. Our hero used his murder and magic skills on them, summoning spirits that thirsted for blood. It's probably time for this weakling and drunkard to change his pants, but Can noted that he was not being rude to him, but simply giving additional motivation for success to such a cute puppy. He probably just made this up. Only a complete fool would believe it. Well, he has to, because he's not ready to hear the truth about the fact that he's a piece of shit and not a player. Our hero used the assassination skill, marking this idiot with a black mark. The black mark gives the marking player a large attack bonus and additional effects, including stealth. The Hero King doesn't work with the likes of this scum, and if he deems it unfair, he can always take revenge in battle. When they appeared in the real world, people around saw them without understanding what was happening. Khan killed Ryun less painfully, but it seems like the guy still doesn't realize he's dead. This idiot again started threatening my father that he would definitely find out about this. And of course he will find out, because our hero will tell him himself. And the threats of such a non-entity do not frighten him. If Ryun's father becomes his enemy, it will be just another freak in line to kill the Hero King. And such disappointment of the family mistakenly considers itself special, because in reality, this is not true. The new season update is the Endless Maze Race, with 999 mazes open to players. Khan was chosen as a maze runner and was thrown into the maze 999 without warning. Ryun, whom he had just humiliated on the street, was thrown in there along with him. And besides him, there are several more newcomers, probably just as useless. They are happy to be on the same team as the Hero King, but Khan is completely out of it. If a player dies at the hands of another player, he can only respawn after the entire labyrinth has been cleared. If a player dies at the hands of the labyrinth, they cannot respawn. The labyrinth can be cleared by defeating the boss in the center or by being the last survivor. The race involves 5 teams of approximately equal strength. If 3 players die, the remaining ones will be disqualified. Our hero would rather succumb to old age than this tower. Their team went into the labyrinth, the jungle of the human hunter. It is good that Khan received a blessing, a 6th sense from his mentor, which allows him to follow the right path and not go astray. Thanks to this blessing, their team has made good progress, but his teammates are weak to balance the forces. So their team probably seems like easy prey to others. Khan gathered them in one place, because they have guests. The other team's members attacked in full force, hoping to get rid of their opponents. But even so, the Hero King proved to be too much for them. According to the rules, after killing 3 players, the remaining team members are disqualified. The remaining 2 seemed very upset that their attack had failed. They sent our hero to hell, after which they were kicked out of the game. The forest itself reached out with its hands and tore the losers to shreds. Team C failed to clear this maze and is out of the game. Their raid failed, and the method of removal corresponds to rule number 2. If a player dies at the hands of the labyrinth, he cannot be respawned even after the labyrinth is cleared. The rest were lucky that Khan killed them himself, so at least they can be reborn. But they already have a rat from the other team on their tail, thinking that if they kill the Hero King, the whole team will be eliminated. However, he also underestimated his strength, and Khan personally greeted the other player. Our hero didn't kill his fan. He must have had something in mind. The scout returned to his own people and reported that he had found another team. He said that one of the enemies was dangerous, but the rest did not pose a threat. And already on the way, he admitted that he was sorry. There was nothing personal in what happened. Seeing the approaching shadow, his allies realized that their scout had turned traitor. Afterwards, our hero single-handedly got rid of the other teams, thus having passed the seasonal update, the first labyrinth. Achievement points were awarded to all players on his team, and of course the newcomers were happy about this. They will have to choose 1 or 2 players who will take 2 random tickets. In case of a disagreement, no one will receive them. Since Kang had done all the work, he hoped to take the reward for himself. But Ryun objected, wanting to take the second ticket. From that moment on, the disagreements began, because this idiot didn't lift a finger, and the other level 20 player at least helped catch monsters, And if Khan doesn't take the second ticket, then he wants it for himself. Our hero is already burning from this sight. Other allies tried to calm the two down, but they failed. Then our hero couldn't take it anymore and simply got rid of them. Let them have a conscience. And so, they received experience points and achievements without doing anything. Having settled the differences, our hero received his reward. However, the random blessings that fell from the tickets left him disappointed. Kanu got Fireproof and Fair Wind Sail, which he already had, but at least they can be combined and leveled up. It might be worth going to the Tower of Fire attributes to practice the new blessing. But Darkness didn't like the idea. He doesn't like fire. He would prefer to go somewhere dark and cool. The pendant given by Princess Syria summons our hero to the Tower of the Holy War. This is a challenging level 7 tower that only allows one player to enter. What is important is that there are creatures in the tower that can take part in the war. Our hero accepted the challenge and found himself right in the throne room. The Shadow Goddess heard the Queen's prayers, and Khan also accepted her challenge. The guards pounced on him, demanding that he show respect to Her Highness. But Syria owed him a great debt, and now he has come to the rescue again, which means he has earned the status of an ally. The raid on the outer tower ended with her coronation, but it looks like she's in danger again. Part of the sacred land was captured by Ayub, a kingdom of desert elves. After the ruler in power at the time found out about this, he suffered a stroke. The new pope, Gregory VIII, appealed to the human kings to unite and reclaim the sacred land. The king of Malice, Richard, the Bloody Beard Barbossa, and the High King Philip II responded with joy. This led to a holy war between elves and humans, a conflict of interests over the land. The kings of the three nations have gathered their armies. Their goal is this fortress, because it is closest to the sacred land. Syria asks our hero to fight on their side. Khan opened a pocket workshop, replaced the Oculus with an ice bolt, and began assembling. Also activated the blessing, the sixth sense of the mentor. The queen has nothing to worry about. Our hero has drawn closer to the army of the evil King Richard. He took out a rifle assembled with the help of ice magic and looked through the sight. The first thing Khan did was shoot a random fighter from the crowd, and everyone around shouted that it was yesterday's guest. The soldiers raised their shields, blessed by the Fire Monarch. As soon as our hero accepted the gift from the Frost Monarch, fire is everywhere. But it didn't matter. He jumped down, heading towards the army of the Holy Lands. The Dark Elves also attacked their enemy. The King of Evil Intent decided not to unite the troops, but to first find the guest. He was completely sure that no arrow could pierce the helmet. But everything is going exactly as Khan said. They cannot understand why someone would fight on the dark side against the Holy Lands. Darkness increased in size and began to get rid of their warriors. King Richard ordered not to be afraid and to go only forward. He led his warriors into battle, but a huge shadow gradually covered them from behind. As soon as they were all underneath her, Dark One snapped his mouth shut. But this was not the end of the enemy army. Using the Fire Monarch's blessing on his sword, Richard cut a path through the shadows. Our hero was surprised by this, because until now, Darkness's trick had always worked. But despite this, Richard failed to save everyone. Khan will probably be able to handle the rest on his own. Besides, he is not fighting alone. The Dark Elves asked our hero to simply keep an eye on the target. According to the Queen's orders, they must exterminate them all by now. The Desert Elf squad looks more like a bunch of fanatics. Although they do not have such armor as the warriors from the Holy Land, elves are quite flexible and agile. Warriors simply cannot keep up with them, and our hero took on King Richard. He used the power of ice and frost against him, but the King of Evil Intent repels the attacks with fire magic. He tries to intimidate the unfamiliar ally of the Dark Elves with his status. But for Khan, he is just an enemy, for the victory over whom a reward is due. Now our hero will check whether he really has a dragon's heart. However, the black mark did not work as he expected, and Khan's modifiers fell. Richard is sure that such a bug cannot defeat him, but our hero cannot understand how his opponent did it. After all, he definitely put a black mark on him. But it looks like the king performed some kind of ritual. He sacrificed the blood of his horse to his patron, and in return he asked for the strength to overcome the pagan standing before him. Our hero hastened to replace the ice bolt with a sword. Barely, but he managed to repel King Richard's attack. Because there is so much blood around, The bloody grip is stronger than usual. This creates ideal conditions for increasing the skill's range. He will have time to do this while the king is getting out of his trap. This skill allows you to control the bodies of the dead in the area. King Richard managed to escape from the bloody grip. He is confident that Kanu will not be able to win with such cheap tricks. But this ability allows not only to resurrect and subjugate the dead, corpses can also change shape for greater effectiveness in combat. The king can only pray to the god of light, who was unable to help him. The Walking Dead skill ends. Our hero has won. The king of evil Richard lost his head. By sunset, our hero returned to the Dark Elves' fortress. He brought the head of King Richard to Queen Saria. She is infinitely grateful for the service to the guest, but only one of the three kings is defeated. The Holy War has just begun. Our hero enjoyed a beautiful night, waiting for the next battle. But the owner of the automated store visited him. Khan has reached the highest level of ice sword making skill. If he upgrades the shop, he will be able to buy an awakening stone. Our hero was already beginning to worry that the store would not appear at all. He didn't want to deal with small matters after taking the 7th level tower. He upgraded the shop and acquired an awakening stone, as well as the Frostsmith ability. She has a hero class, a deity, and Khan can use this ability much faster. The next day is a beautiful day for people to die. Our hero is too dangerous for the enemy, and their captain is probably a fat guy. His army is losing, and he didn't bother to get off his ass. It's probably just too heavy for her to lift, and Khan will have to go in himself since he won't come out. Our hero came out to them as soon as news arrived about the location of Bloodbeard Barbossa. It was not the elven scouts who found him, but a man. The three kings of the sacred land never got along, and they are still feuding. Whether the denunciation is true or not, it is a good chance because Barbossa is the most powerful of the three kings, and the elves sent their best warriors. However, as soon as our hero found his target, a surprise awaited him. Bloody Beard fell dead as soon as the ice touched him. It looks like there was poison in his mug of booze even before that. An elf ally came to report that everything is clear on the street, but this whole holy war is a complete lie. The real enemy is right in front of them. One of the kings was poisoned by one of his own. Our hero returned to the queen and reported that the information had been leaked to someone else. They are capable of this precisely because of the holy war. They will receive all the glory and set three nations at odds, killing two birds with one stone. With their battle, the desert elves only betrayed someone's confidence in Barbossa's death. Syria decided that one way or another, they would now have to fight the High King. But Khan is confident that the remaining troops have probably joined the other side. The High King, Philip II, received a report of the murder of Bloodbeard and his soldiers. The desert elves created the perfect conditions to pin Barbarossa's death on them. The King of Evil and the Bloody Beard fell at the hands of the pagans, and those who remained will easily carry out the orders of Philip II. Now he can exterminate the pagans, after which the Holy Land will be his. Philip ordered the troops of the King of Evil Intent and Bloody Beard to be sent to the front lines. Angels are watching them from heaven, so there is no room for error. Our hero met their troops and an army that he had never seen before. It is obvious that the Supreme King Philip II decided to use foreign troops as a human shield. People went into battle shouting slogans in the name of peace and the God of light to kill the pagans. These slogans are identical, but it is unlikely that peace can be established through violence. Khan bought a west wind from the store. It will sweep across the battlefield, making the battle proceed smoothly, like a gentle breeze at the end of spring. The strengthening westerly wind will be active until the end of the battle. Seeing Khan, the warriors recognized him. They were sure that it was he who killed their king. Therefore, they intend to avenge his majesty and will not lose to the ignoramuses under any circumstances. The Monarch of Light blessed the human army, including the High King Philip II. In addition, the Warriors of Light will join the battle against the Desert Elves. Also, the human army was blessed by the Fire Monarch, and fire destroyers joined the battle. The people's fighting spirit rose, because the gods were with them. In turn, the Shadow Monarch blessed the Desert Elf army, and the Shadow Council joined the battle. The Frost Monarch has also blessed the Desert Elf army, and the Ice Guardians are joining the fight. It looks like this battle is exactly what the gods want. If they crave violence, doesn't that mean they are gods of evil? Darkness suggested that Kanu shut up and do what he was paid for. That's right. The war will end today. The Shadow Council rewarded our hero with 100 shadow dolls. Although the desert elves are supported, the enemy is in the same position. 59th level angels are on the human side. The shadow puppets will deal with them, and our hero's opponent will be the Supreme King Philip II. Suddenly, his cloak turned into angel wings. Khan first thought about what this could mean, decided that this person is actually a player. However, later I realized that I was wrong. Seeing our hero, Philip realized that this was the one everyone called the guest. In the name of the God of Light, King Philip II and the High King, he will get rid of him. This guy is a real religious fanatic. He put God and people on the same level. This game just can't get any worse. Everyone has wings behind their backs. However, the Shadow Monarch can do something too. He blessed Khan with the wings of a raven. He didn't mean that he needed wings too, but it would be a nice fashion accessory for the game. Fighting in the air like this, Khan's original plan is now just a useless piece of paper. But Philip is happy. Finally, he has a worthy opponent. Their battle will become legendary. He decided that our hero was already tired. This was his punishment for betraying the God of Light. But he himself lives the way the gods want. This means that the gods wanted Philip to poison the bloody beard. A cheap trick on the part of our hero. Of course the gods wanted it that way. He, the God-blessed Seraphim, desires the same as his god. The Khan fighting face-to-face turned out to be just a copy. But the blow from the real one's back was reflected by Seraphim's shield. Our hero knew that he wasn't the only one unhappy with the wings. They limited his field of vision. As soon as Philip was injured, a level 8 Seraphim moved into his body. The wave that followed the movement threw our hero back a little. The wounds he received on his body healed. Now their fight would be more difficult. Khan didn't know that angels could do that. The Sword of Light and Ice clashed in a confrontation. Both of them exceptional. The Fire Destroyers forged the Sword of Light in Hellfire, and the Ice Guardians forged an ice sword in the cold Kokit River. After the battle, the battlefield was wet from the rain. Philip is in alliance with a level 8 Seraph. Too strong an opponent. Our hero barely manages to dodge the attacks. Having cut off the wing, Philip's sword immediately headed towards our hero. The Warrior of Light already felt his victory, but the severed wing released shadow needles straight at him. Immediately after this, our hero attacked with ice swords using sword control. Khan killed Philip II and the High King, the body of the Archangel. And even without wings, our hero will not fall from a great height. It's a shame to say this, but Kanu doesn't need wings to fight above ground. The sight of the falling angels shocked the human army. They saw the defeat of their leader who brought them here. The course of history has been changed. History will remember the player's legendary cloak, and our hero received the achievement, damaged equipment, and also 100,000 achievement points. Finally, everything ended in the Holy War Tower. Journalists attacked him again after a successful raid on the 7th level tower. They also immediately noticed that the cross had disappeared from the design of Khan's cloak. They're also interested in the fact that he's been raiding towers more intensely than ever before this season. Mr. Park came to pick up Kang, but he was late. Journalists had already surrounded him, and he also noticed that something had changed. They love heroic deeds. They love writing sensational articles. But sometimes, Kanu doesn't understand why he has to work his ass off for the sake of peace. Finally, they waited for the speeches from the Hero King. But he decided to find out their opinion about the war. Such questions left journalists puzzled. But how do they feel about a person having molten iron poured on him while he is climbing the castle walls? To the fact that a man is hit by arrows. To the fact that his intestines fall out when he is slashed with a sword. It's the 21st century, so you can start with rockets falling from the sky. Bullets pierce people and fighter jets bomb innocent people. But in the 21st century, guts still spill out, and journalists react to this very negatively. There is no one who would like this. Just like the Queen of Syria, she is happy that the desert elves have been avenged, but at the same time she is scared to death. Her people have won, but she fears the end of this war. Blood and death. It's a terrifying scene. She doesn't believe that this is exactly what their goddess wanted. Our hero clarified for journalists that he too has a very negative attitude towards this. No one in their right mind would enjoy war. So let the journalists express their opinion on the heroes. Everyone likes heroes, but heroes are made by killing enemies and performing well in war. Without war, there would be no heroes. which means they like wars. This is Khan's provocative statement. But their neighbors to the left, right, and above send assassins after our hero with each new season. Espionage is also considered war, and Khan also said on camera that other countries had attempted to assassinate him. They didn't know about it because it was classified information. If our hero said who the neighbor upstairs was, it would immediately be censored. That's why he immediately remembered this as soon as he started talking about the war. Even if the world collapsed tomorrow, people would still be at each other's throats. States even want to send their best players to the front lines, using them as weapons in war. They told Kanu to draw his sword, not in front of the enemy of the whole world, but in front of the enemy of the country. But he himself does not want to go through all this. Our hero often wonders whether this world deserves to be saved. One of the journalists was sure that it was, but Khan asked him to explain his point of view. They believe it would be irresponsible for Khan to stop being a player, as it would be unacceptable to make innocent people suffer. He will either die a hero or live long enough to become a villain. Our hero simply says that there is no need to take words so seriously. Mr. Park quickly moved Kong away from the cameras so that he wouldn't blurt out anything provocative again. He chased the journalists off the road, but our hero continued to chatter after them. He asked people not to say anything more about the player's debt or what responsibility the player has, because if they piss off an arrogant bastard like Khan, he won't take responsibility for all the mess in the world. The monarch of the alternate reality entered a berserker state and blessed Khan with a legendary item, an amulet for finding enemies. Later, our hero listened to the news after the terrorist threats that the Hero King faced were revealed. Pak wondered why he was listening to this. First he caused such a noise and now he was afraid. But Khan was only thinking about how Pak might get angry. But this old man can't be angry with him, especially now, knowing what he's going through. Khan thanked him. Pak is glad that he at least understands that he should be grateful. Our hero decided to ask what class the old man currently has. He is a purebred assassin. He has awakened. Pak boasted of the legendary assassin's weapon, the Heartbreaker, a true killer's weapon. He also heard that our hero also obtained legendary equipment. Pak suggested that Khan take a stroll. There was a nice 7th level tower, the Godfather's Tower, but it only allows 2 players. There is no store, and the goal of the raid is to reward the Capone family. In this tower, betrayal, secret feuds, and the unrivaled vileness of the organization await them. In that case, Khan suggested changing the genre to noir. There is a heavy downpour on the streets of the Tower World right now. 2 people have arranged a secret meeting in one of the alleys. The girl gave something to another person and asked him to remember that it was all in the name of justice. After walking a little further, she looked at her watch. It had stopped working. The Godfather had given it to her. It was at that moment that Khan and Pak appeared in front of her, and they were caught right in the rain. The girl guessed who they were, so she decided to come up and ask for help, because the Capone family was going through a crisis. They are now in the city of Black York, which is ruled by 5 prestigious families in the criminal underworld. A meeting between the businessmen is scheduled for 4 days. But not long ago, their godfather and his associates were brutally murdered. This girl, Rebecca, was once an orphan, picked up from the streets when she was still a child. She was lucky that her abilities had awakened, but it was of little use. Life only got better when the godfather adopted her. He is her savior. On the day of the attack, this girl managed to save only one person, Godfather Vito's son, who is currently the acting boss. Finally, they reached the office of the head of the Capone enterprise. When they entered, the first thing they saw was a portrait of the Godfather. But when they saw his son in the chair, Pak couldn't resist calling him a brat boss. The boy reacted violently. He had no intention of allowing himself, the rightful heir, to be spoken to in such a way. Rebecca asked them not to be angry with them, noting that these men did not seem to be very intelligent. Besides, there is no time for this. It is better to get straight to the point. In short, their goal is to return the Capone family to its former glory. At the upcoming meeting in 4 days, they should generate the greatest interest among the leaders of the 5 families. Also try to find those responsible for the murder of the Godfather and his associates. Our hero decided to check if there were already any suspects, but it could be any of the other 4 families or someone close to them. Under Gambino's radar, he is currently in a precarious position and more war-prone than anyone else. Then our hero suggested the simplest solution to the problem: kill them all. The idea is not bad in Rebecca's opinion, it would be possible to remove all potential enemies of the family. But it seems Vito doesn't like this idea. The Capones have always been a great family. They became influential under his father. And now the boy has Rebecca. She has observed her father's strategy for the past 20 years. Her methods are Capone itself, and he agrees with her opinion. Although the Godfather's son is the leader, he himself believes that Rebecca has more experience. But he himself thinks that if other families are not involved, then it is better to maintain their business relations. The heir to the Capone family looked up at Rebecca hesitantly, as if asking her permission. She confirmed the possibility of keeping the families alive, but noted that the boss was too soft. Mr. Pak, in his discussion of the situation, suggested that the Collio family be slaughtered first, as they were the closest. To find a villain, you have to think like a villain. In the end, all life is a game, and everyone chooses their own role. Pak and Khan arrived at Collio's house, where they encountered armed guards. But of course, we were able to deal with them without any difficulty. Pak offered them to surrender, promising to spare those who did not resist. But the guards are ready to die for the Collio family. And if that's the case, then Pak won't hold back. Our hero watched as the old man got carried away. Reinforcements have arrived. They think that the guests attacked on purpose before the meeting. But this guy isn't their boss. The boss of the Collio family would never stoop to fighting someone like them. Pak suggested that Khan have some fun with the guards alone. But our hero is against it. He wants to go further together. The old man reminded us that our hero came here to rest, so he asked to let him deal with these. Then Khan agreed and promised to clear the way for him. To do this, he used ice magic, and the old man ran to look for the boss of the Collio family. In the end, the security was already finished, but someone was watching it all from the side. An unfamiliar human figure, resembling a bird in appearance. Out of the corner of his eye, Pak saw the figure fly past the window. Our hero had a bad feeling that this was not all. Their next target was the Gambino family, which they also quickly dealt with. After which we went to eat cheeseburgers at a local eatery. When meeting with the boss of the Gambino family, Pak tried to extract information from him about the murder of the Godfather. He is still alive, but is unlikely to be able to come to the meeting unless Pak receives an answer to the question asked. The Gambino family boss received no response from either Sanchez or Falcone, from which he drew certain conclusions. There is a possibility that the Godfather was killed by one of his own. Pak used his ability on him. In 72 hours, the blood flow in his heart will stop, and after it, the heart itself. But the one who uses this ability can prevent this. The Gambino family will miss this meeting, and is also willing to cooperate in finding the person responsible for the death of Capone Sr. On these terms, Pak and the Gambino family boss said goodbye. However, finding information about the killer turned out to be not so easy. For now, Kang and Park are left with nothing. But they will surely learn more at the meeting. Besides, this is just a guess. But the old man is sure that there are others besides the 5 families. Later, the family leaders gathered at a prearranged meeting place. The head of the Collio family, Marcellus Collio, arrived in a tattered state, as did the head of the Gambino family. But the Falcone and Sanchez families are still missing. And Rebecca advised Vito not to jump to conclusions. Subordinates ran into the hall to report important news, which definitely attracted the attention of the heads of other families. They concerned the Falcone and Sanchez families, who did not show up at the meeting place. It was recently reported that they were both killed. Our hero heard this and realized that there was another enemy. Now it is clear why families seemed weakened during the attacks. There is no need to look for this new mysterious enemy. He himself decided to make a spectacular appearance at the meeting place of the 4 families. It's so convenient that everyone who discredits this city has gathered in one place. They associate with corrupt politicians, manipulate the trade union, and rob poor citizens. These families are liars and smugglers, despicable criminals who only sow chaos. His name is Night Raven, and he's going to give them what they deserve. A flock of black crows flew into the hall. Vito assumed that the Night Raven was the killer of the other 2 bosses. It is true. They were scoundrels for whom even death was too small a price. But that is not all. He also killed the Godfather and intends to arrange a quick meeting with him for his son. After all, he thinks that since Vito became the heir, now he is a criminal too. Rebecca protected the young boss from the sharp feathers with her shield. For some reason, This surprised the Night Raven. It was with him that Rebecca secretly met that rainy night. She plays her game behind the back of the family that took her in. But this did not stop the Night Raven. He still intends to kill Vito. Our hero reminded him that a son is not responsible for his father. Darkness blocked his path. It turns out that the Night Raven was the main villain here. However, he is quite agile and was able to dodge the Shadow Pet's attacks, but it's unlikely that he'll be able to jump like this for long. The Night Raven is also able to dispel shadows, but since this is the case, our hero will try differently. Khan moved closer to put a black mark on the enemy. He also used the ability detection skill on the target, which provides complete information about the target's stats and allows you to apply weakness detection once. Dark energy emanates from the cloak and sharp feathers of the Night Raven. He also has a lot of explosives, just like a suicide bomber. Night Raven decided that our hero is a Sir since he can weaken opponents. And since he was dealing with Sir, he decided to use his most powerful ability. The crows began to explode. Pak offered our hero a trade, as he himself was a master in one-on-one fights. But it didn't work out. After all, Khan himself prefers such fights rather than defending someone. Night Raven tried to talk to Khan, trying to convince him that the rotten souls had simply fooled him. All the families are just a bunch of thugs who killed his family and then left the courtroom innocent. This city is rotten. That's why it fights for justice. He believes that it is not too late to restore justice, and that Khan could take his side. But our hero was surprised when he tore the mask off his opponent. Beneath it was a child who was left alone and absorbed in dreams of justice. But what Khan didn't have time to do was that this boy really did turn out to be a suicide bomber. He pressed the button he was holding in his hand, but managed to say something before he finished. He learned about the meeting place from Rebecca. The two of them managed to plant the explosives in advance. Darkness grabbed all of his people and quickly ran away. He managed to save them from the explosion. If it weren't for Darkness, they would all have been torn into small pieces and fried. Rebecca later thanked Puck and Khan for their loyalty. Thanks to the current situation, the Capone family is on top. Besides, Vito survived just as she wanted. But there is one thing. There is reason to believe that Rebecca arranged all this herself. Our hero was hired to eliminate the enemies of the Capone family. If Rebecca had a hand in killing the head of the family, and even persuaded the Raven to kill the other leaders, then she is on their list. And according to the Night Raven, it was she who provided him with the information. She eliminated the competing families and appointed her puppet as Capone's boss. She became the woman who practically ruled Black York. According to Rebecca, all this is for the sake of Mr. Vito, because he is too kind and naive. She eliminated the Godfather, who wanted to make Vito his successor, and all external enemies, just to protect him. She only did what was expected of her as head of security. But Can sees this as a knife in the back of the man who picked her up and raised her. And then she put a puppet in place of the boss. It looks like she was only thinking about her own safety. Because of her, Vito is completely dependent. Mr. Pak suggested not to guess, but to ask Vito himself. Rebecca didn't expect the boy to hear everything she had just said. Vito didn't listen to her excuses. In the end, she was right. The world really is cruel. The raid's objective was accomplished. It didn't feel like a noir film. It felt more like a fight between a superhero and a supervillain. But as soon as they got out, they discovered that there was trouble outside. A fifth-level tower in the very center of Seoul was on the verge of collapse. The level 5 tower in question was raided by players from the association. They failed the first raid and retreated, after which their level was lowered. Then one of them suggested fixing this by setting up a high-difficulty raid. They've been through so much and do not want to end up at the bottom again and become slaves to the association. Therefore, they must compensate for these penalty points in any way possible. A high-level raid is their only chance. After that, they decided to carry out a high-difficulty raid and were completely destroyed. Khan knew the association's system of awarding merit points and demerit points was harsh, but it certainly shouldn't be that way. This is rare these days, but during the first and second seasons, this disaster was handled quite easily. At that time, proper raiding techniques had not yet been developed and failures were common. The solution, however, was not easy to find, and many had died long before. Khan himself has lost loved ones, both before and after becoming a player. But now things are different. He has unlocked unassembled gear and skill sets. He will not allow anything that could compromise him. The tower is about to be breached. People are already preparing for the invasion of monsters, And then, the Hero King arrives. An opening portal was already hanging in the sky above the city. When the players saw our hero, they were happy. At least now they wouldn't die. The countdown to the tower breach has begun. It's about to start. All the players are ready. Khan announced that everyone who fits one of the 3 criteria must flee from here. Firstly, those who are captured by the shadow from Khan's skill. Secondly, those who can't keep up with him. And thirdly, those who are not the king are heroes. In other words, our hero intends to save everyone single-handedly. Monsters of various kinds burst out. There are orcs, reptilians, and something that even Khan doesn't know what it's called. But judging by the name of the tower, we can guess something. The enemies the players fought must have been people from the realm within the tower itself. This means that the monsters that escape from the tower have nothing to do with the tower in which the players fail the raid. Well then, we can only guess where these creatures come from. All the journalists are filming this sensational moment as the Hero King single-handedly manages to break into the tower. Although he is a rather controversial figure, in terms of skills, he is the best. The monarch of the abyss awakens the darkness from the deepest places. It's more fun. The gates change color. This ominous hue must foreshadow a monster of the abyss. Our hero is irritated by this attention and advises the journalist to get lost before he feeds him to this monster. It is obvious that the monarch acts of his own free will. The abyssal beast has appeared. Although it's strange that it came out of a 5th-level tower, but our hero is not at all afraid of this. He has no time to think about levels at all. Khan believes that he can dismember this colossus in one move. He was able to rise to a high level, obtain rare abilities, and improve them. This should definitely be enough to defeat such a giant. Our hero activated the Charlotte's Web skill, a rare one. It connects 2 points with a thread of death that has incredible cutting power. Due to the symbiosis with the assassination skill, the number of webs that can be created has been increased. Our hero defeated the monster, for which he received the blessing of the monarch of the abyss, and this completes the hacking of the tower. Immediately after this, a whole bunch of journalists came running. Details of the incident were later released, including details of the association's strict rules. It looks like things will change after this. Kang and Park gave them a lot of reasons this time. They will not miss this chance to cleanse the association of rot. The idea of the pack is to found a guild. Although the law does not allow it, one nation, one guild, nothing but an association. There are many reasons to channel this into public opinion, which could contribute to the repeal of the guild law. The new guild should be founded by the Hero King, not Puck. However, our hero does not want to do anything like that. In one night, the petition for permission to form a guild collected 170,000 signatures, all in favor of the Hero King at its head. But Lee Seon-ho is sure that they simply don't know how dangerous players, especially black ones, can be for civilians. In some countries, governments are loosening their grip and guilds are colluding with the criminal underworld. Some countries have even turned into empires of black players. Even in the US, where private player guilds are allowed, top players are kept under control by the military. Players, this is a ticking time bomb. If control becomes impossible, it's time to choose the lesser of 2 evils. He believes that these freaks simply have no idea how the world works. The evil monarch took an interest in Lee Sung-hyun and invited him to participate in the tower test. Pak thinks that Kang, as the Hero King, should form a guild and show off a little. But our hero hates more than anything else working with stupid people and interacting with idiots. Although he doesn't have to worry about it, he will just have to put his face forward. After all, being first is always hard. If they create their own guild, then others will appear, and by competing with each other, they will gradually get rid of each other. Only the Hero King can do this. He is the one who always goes to the front lines. Our hero's duty is to raid towers. He turned on the search for towers of the 7th level and above. The closest one is 226 kilometers away. There is always a way to get into the tower, even if you don't look for it, for example, by receiving something from it as a gift and just waiting for the call. Our hero received a gift from the underdog boss. Such gifts represent means of communication between the world of the tower and the outside world. It seems that he won't be called up yet, But for now, it's better to just wait. Suddenly, a loud siren sounded in the street, and all the screens lit up red. This is a notification about the appearance of a new tower. Viewers were invited to enjoy a live raid from the best players on the planet. The Clown Monarch insists that Kang Yu-sung take part. The raid's goal is unknown, and to enter the tower, you need to be among the top 10 players. Of the 2 players from the same country, the one with the higher level will advance. All incidents in the tower will be broadcast live, but if it fails, 100 million random people will die. Our hero can't believe it. Although he does not consider himself the savior of the world, under such conditions, he cannot refuse. Here, either he will become a volunteer, or someone weaker will come and possibly screw up. All top 10 players arrived at the gathering place. Here, our hero met Maria Yeager, the saint, and Ray Chan, the Sword Lord of China. He also met another old acquaintance, Jorg Billmaker, a gravedigger who is the director of the artifact company. They already had to play with a similar lineup last season. Maria was glad to see Khan and ran to say hello to him. First of all, she is glad to see that everything is fine with him. Even during the raid on the 7th level tower, she was worried after seeing that provocative interview. He confirmed that he is completely fine and will not stop conducting raids. Ray suggested that he just give up since he was tired. The best player in humanity came in last. True heroes don't hesitate when the fate of 100 million people is at stake. But this swordsman will never get past Khan, because he probably didn't even have time to finish reading the terms. But the grandfather who stands next to me always calculates everything well. But it's strange why he has no equipment at all. In fact, George hasn't started the season yet. No one will die inside the tower, and people from all over the world are watching them. Until they leave the tower, they will be temporarily given a batch of items from Season 5. Skills and equipment have been added to each player. It even seems to reduce the chance of one of them dying. Even though he came with nothing, Georg received the items he had previously owned. I can't even believe that they are arguing now. They found the time. Ms. Lydia is an international player and law enforcement officer. Men, and their inferiority complex, seem to have forgotten how many lives are at stake. General Kilgore, Commander-in-Chief of U.S. Special Operations, will fulfill his duty to his country and the planet. You should be mindful of your behavior, at least while they are here, because the live broadcast has probably already started. The main host of this game, the Clown Monarch, arrived at the gathering place. This is a holiday in their honor, a sign of gratitude to their dear saviors. His fellow monarch is dead and he's throwing a party. They must not have been on the best of terms. The Monarch Slayer title was awarded to player Kang Yu-sung for eliminating the season of the Plague Lord boss. Ray didn't even know that our hero received this title, which makes him very angry. The Clown Monarch hasn't even said anything about what will have to be done in this tower. Ray took out his mythological weapon and attacked the Monarch. He is too hot-tempered and is not happy with the creature that staged a game with many lives at stake. His attack is quite strong and doesn't surprise anyone. This behavior is expected from Ray. He likes to play to the crowd, but the Clown Monarch has the power to nullify all attacks, so there is no point in wasting energy. It's time to explain the rules of this tower. He turned this tower into a show. The first thing the audience has to do is vote for their favorite hero, and the hero's task is simple. They need to attract as much attention as possible and entertain the audience. It doesn't matter exactly how. The prize will go to the one who gets the most votes. If there are not enough votes, or if the hero gets boring to the audience, this raid will be considered a failure. He asked them not to stand idle, to use their head, tongue, or body to spit. Ray did not miss this opportunity and challenged our hero to a duel. He thinks pretty quickly, but Khan is not interested and wants to refuse. There is no option to opt out. If someone dies, they will respawn, and no one can leave the tower until the voting is over. The Monarch set up an arena for the upcoming duel. Our hero behaves rather pompously. He has no doubt whatsoever about his victory. He is confident that now the Sword Lord will get a minimum of votes. Inside the tower created by the Clown Monarch, Ray was given the opportunity to challenge Khan to a one-on-one duel. An arena was created for them, and people from the outside world would watch what was happening as if it were a show. Their main task is to entertain the people and collect more votes. Our hero has no doubt about his victory. He is confident that the Swordmaster will now collect the minimum number of votes. But Ray himself thinks that if he doesn't win, then these votes don't mean anything. This fight will be for his loss on the first day of the season in the War Tower. The Sword Lord has used an attack that increases the number of attacks he can strike at once. But this is not the level at which you can defeat the Hero King. Taking candy from a child isn't all that fun, even though it's easy. Our hero parried all the blows with a mirror technique. The others cannot understand where Khan got the Sword of Nines, although he uses not only the same sword, but also the same technique as the Swordmaster. Georg Billmeyer suggested that this is a reproduction skill. Seeing his equipment and his own technique, Ray began to guess that the Hero King was being helped by the Monarch of Mirrors. But even so, he doesn't believe that such a thing even happens. The Swordmaster has dedicated his entire life to this one sword, but Khan defeats him. George expressed his admiration. He thinks that none of them can handle the Hero King. But it's ironic to hear this coming from the Gravedigger, who is trying his best to displace him. However, if you look deeper, those who seriously believe that they have a chance are standing very close. This is appalling behavior on their part, given that hundreds of millions of lives depend on clearing this tower. And all these people think about is killing the top player and taking his place. In his interview, Khan said that even if the world ends tomorrow, they will continue to hunt each other. He was absolutely right about that. In the first and second seasons, people cleared the towers to save the world. But now everything has changed a lot. The players are getting stronger every season. The difficulty of the towers increases with the strength of the monsters and bosses that inhabit them. All this is not for the sake of saving the world. Maria should have realized this earlier because she is no longer that naive girl. Their worldview, religions, even skin color are different from each other. And people are probably not able to unite in a game where the salvation of the world is at stake. This means that it is not a fact that they will be able to save him. Ray understands that this is not a fair game. And up until this point, he has accepted it. No matter how strong the Hero King is, he must have some secret. If the Swordmaster can unravel this mystery, he will be able to win. Last time, he himself was not against losing to him. All the Swordmaster wanted was to unravel the secret of the Hero King's power. But it seems he forgot his place. And our hero is not averse to reminding Ray where it is. He will be happy to show him the difference between them. Khan hit the ground with great force, sending rocks and dust flying around him, after which the dust began to swirl around him like a hurricane. Once out of sight, our hero opened the sidebar and changed his abilities. And after the dust settled, his appearance surprised everyone. This is a mythical level skill. The Descent of the Heavenly Demon. The user of this skill can temporarily manifest the divinity and combat skills of the Heavenly Demon Sword God. The Heavenly Demon has 3 swords. Its first form is Splitting. Ray received multiple cut wounds in an instant. The second form of the 3, Destruction. This attack has great destructive power. Our hero didn't even have to show Ray his third form. The match was over. It was simply an incredible sight. As expected from the Hero King, the wounds that Ray had received disappeared, after which the voting began. Our hero looked up at the rest of the top 10 players. He decided to show them his strength at the same time, so that they don't think that they could have done better. Spectators from the outside world were also surprised that Khan had managed to copy the Gravedigger's skills and equipment. Some people think he is a monster, but it is only because of this monster that they are alive. There is no need to call him a monster. It is obvious that he is a Hero King. The other players were too stunned, as if they were seeing the copy skill for the first time. However, it is unlikely that the descent of the Heavenly Demon can be explained by simple copying of skills. This ability is different from normal copying. Lydia fought with a person with this ability, a collector of personalities, the worst of black players, who copies every single one of his opponent's settings, right down to his face. The fighting style is similar but has clear limitations. And Khan's ability is not exactly a copy, but something new. Other players are so curious about his skills. Their faces are worth seeing. But our hero will be happy to tell them something. In fact, he made a contract with the Lord of Truth. According to the terms of the contract, he can only tell the truth, even if the whole world is watching him. Georg assumed that he would be the next opponent, but that's not true. Khan hates fighting more than anything in the world, just as much as the impudent scum who don't know their place. Everyone around became interested in what our hero would do next. From now on, he will try to convey the truth to the audience. The clown suggested that self-promotion is the best tactic for getting voted. Our hero took his place at the microphone. He greeted all the viewers, not that they had a choice, Kana is broadcast on all channels. That's quite a pleasure. Anyway, 10 damn heroes have gathered in a damn tower, and now people have to choose one of them. If they don't get enough votes, 100 million random people will be awarded a ticket to the afterlife. Now they understand how important this vote is. Even the worst of tyrants can become president thanks to it. If something goes wrong, this is the most likely scenario. Khan is completely disregarding his words in this address to the people. But why did his words about the tyrant make others feel uncomfortable? People certainly revered national heroes at the time our hero fought them. It seems that Georg Billmeyer's dream of creating a third empire was a secret. The gravedigger accused our hero of daring to say such things without any evidence. However, he said before that he had made a contract with the Lord of Truth, so he could not lie. Everything he says now is the absolute truth. So he hopes that people will vote responsibly. It seems that it is time for him to end his speech here. After all, there are more than one or two crazy people next to him, for example. Count Vladimir. Although this man pretends that he has no idea what Khan is talking about, it was he who spoke of the intention to resurrect the empire. He said that he would kill the president and become king. Our hero asked them to demonstrate their magic in turn. Count Vladimir will not tolerate insults towards his native country and president. He is so pious despite his fiery nature. General Kilgore also likes to play with fire, Khan says, referring to his habit of dropping bombs on enemy countries. He still does this, even though he tries to keep it a secret. The general asked our hero to understand the consequences of his words spoken to the whole world. But how else, frankly speaking, the heroes who saved the world? He is a crazy nationalist, an imperialist, and also a war fanatic. Khan doesn't think people will like this news, but he is confident that he can cope with the consequences of his words. However, the general does not consider himself weaker. Now he will show our hero jet fighters. The rest of the players put up a shield, because this crazy old man seems to want to kill everyone. His exclusive skill, Diablo F-23. But our hero also managed to surprise the lieutenant general. His fighters were met by identical fighters, after which they crashed into each other. Our hero managed to copy his exclusive skill. It seems it is not so exclusive after all. Georg Billmeyer is also starting to get angry. He doesn't think that Khan will be able to get out of this dry. However, our hero advised Georg not to consider them his comrades. After all, these so-called comrades try to stab him in the back at every opportunity. And all this is not a misunderstanding, because as Khan already said, his contractor is the Lord of Truth. He cannot lie. They do whatever they want, but as soon as the truth comes out, they immediately justify themselves. Provocation skills are rapidly growing. The clown monarch is pleased with our hero's actions. Top players don't worry like that. It's not like them. Khan may carry the truth to the masses for a long time, but these words, in the end, will not change the world. Then Georg suggested that our hero was going to burn this world down like an offended child. That's right. Khan is just a child, so he's bored with these old people. The clown became interested in what the child with 1,000 faces and 1,000 visages wanted, and he desires the descent of the heavenly demon. His wish will be fulfilled, and the others don't understand what trick he will pull next. It looks like our hero has succeeded, but the presenter suggests moving on to the next hero. They should give everyone a chance. Maria raised her hand, because she also has something to say to people. The interior around had changed. All the players were seated in their chairs. Everything around looks like a morning performance in a kindergarten. Maria asked our hero to close his mouth. Here and now, she is going to show the world the true qualities of the Hero King. This statement surprised everyone, even the viewers from the outside world. They do not understand how he won her favor. Khan himself was surprised by this. He didn't expect this from her. The results of the first vote were announced a little earlier, and the figures were unrealistic. So our hero decided that it was a fake. But it didn't matter as long as Khan was getting some benefit from it. After all, the players who take the first 5 places will be awarded according to the number of votes they receive. And the player who takes first place is awarded a mythical level skill. So Khan received the Descent of the Heavenly Demon. Now he has all 3 divine relics: equipment, title, and skill. He never once took advantage of the Black Death he received after defeating the Plague Lord, because mythical equipment and skills cannot be used without a sufficient skill level. If the test is failed, the result will be either a decrease in characteristics or death. Even the Sword Master had a huge penalty for failing the test, losing first place to the gravedigger. However, our hero already tried in the previous season, so he thinks he will succeed. He decided to change the weapon later, but the skill needed to be changed immediately. It was the first time the Heavenly Demon's Descent was activated. But in order to use this skill, he needs to prove that he is worthy of it. As soon as he put the card into the slot, he was transported to another location. There he met an old man with whom he would have to fight. But if nothing has changed since last season, then Khan suggested ending it quickly. The test begins. To pass it, you need to block 2 basic attacks of the Sky Demon. As soon as the old man took out his sword, the aura around him changed. The first strike of the Heavenly Demon with the 3-fingered sword, splitting. He has excellent technique and speed. Interestingly, however, our hero has already been through this. The next blow Khan must endure is his second form, destruction. Our hero managed to do this, but the Heavenly Demon noticed that his name had changed. Now Khan, the Monarch Killer. The test is over, so Khan should be able to summon the Heavenly Demon when he needs to swing his sword. But it turned out that he was not indifferent to the fact that our hero killed the Monarch. Khan decided that the old man didn't like it. However, it turns out that I really like it. But our hero aroused his interest even more. The Heavenly Demon decided to continue their duel and see how well Khan wielded a sword. But the test is already over, and if the old man continues, he might even kill him. The thing is that Khan's sword is still enchanted. He killed the monarch with this sword, which means the old man does not recognize it. Khan can't beat him at his current level. If it were possible, he wouldn't be here. Hearing this, the old man agreed and decided to arrange another test for him. First, he stomped on the ground so hard that cracks appeared under him. Then, with the same force, he struck Khan's sword. Our hero does not understand why he goes so far. He asked to tell him this truth. Khan killed the monarch. Perhaps the answer the old man desperately seeks can be found in him. He suggested that our hero try to stop his 3-fingered sword, but when the old man lifted it, Kanu found it impossible, and when he lowered it, he clearly felt that it passed through him. However, Khan did not find any wounds on himself, which is why he did not understand at all what had happened. The old man spent his entire life wandering, searching for a warrior who could defeat him. He searched for it day and night, but did not taste defeat until the very end. He did not understand the essence of defeat, even when he looked death in the eyes. The omnipresent transience overtook him, but the old man never found what he was looking for. He could not understand whether a person capable of defeating him even existed. Masters from all countries, empires, continents, even the god's reaper bowed before his blade. Everything is meaningless before the blade of the heavenly demon. But for the first time, he sees the man who killed the Lord. He wonders if Khan is different from the others, or if he will die the same way as everyone else. He wonders what all this means for our hero and whether he wants to become a hero himself. When Maria expressed her opinion about the hero king, a player named Kang Yu-sung, she called him as sweet and gentle as his heart was warm. She called him a crybaby and a coward, a spoiled brat. After all, when a comrade dies, or when a tower raid fails due to an unsuccessful strategy, when our hero endures any sacrifice, he cries for a whole week without stopping, like a child. At that time, she only listened to his repentance. In the end, the old man hopes that Khan will be able to give him an answer. Our hero asked what exactly interested him, the meaning of defeat, death, or life, and he did not expect that Khan was still alive. The saint also mentioned something similar, that despite all this, our hero goes to the end. No matter how much pain and fear he feels, no matter how many times he is broken into pieces, he continues to fight for the good of the world, even if it turns out to be meaningless in the end. That's what she said. Only what exists can be broken. That is the meaning. The principle of the 3-fingered sword of the heavenly demon is similar to this. Khan met his end a long time ago, so the old man won't be able to break what's left now. He didn't expect that our hero, who is on the same level as him, would understand the full essence of meaninglessness. It is unclear how a man who runs around everywhere just to protect something meaningless could become the king of heroes. He seemed to think that Khan was doing this out of a sense of duty, but what he was actually doing was pure nonsense. Saving the world has become a common thing, but they still go out of their way to do it. On the other side of the barricade are madmen firing at them with all their guns. There is hardly anything more meaningless in the world. The old man agreed with this, said goodbye, and said that he would look forward to the next meeting. Player Kang Yu-sung was deemed worthy. Now he can use the true descent of the heavenly demon. However, Darkness panicked when he saw the state of his master, who had fallen before him. The pet called him weak. Although Khan is not weak, he ranks first in the world top. But Darkness doesn't understand why he's sick then. His temperature has risen. Khan is not sick. He is just angry because of the bastards on the internet who are portraying him as a child. He needs to go to a raid on an ninth level tower to calm down a little. But there are no such towers yet. As the season progresses, tower levels will increase. But even so, this will happen at least every month. Higher level towers appear not in the territory of a specific country, but in a universal area. Once they are unlocked, Khan will be able to enter any game as if it were a game. He decided to see if the 7th level tower he hadn't gone into was open, but Darkness wouldn't let him in. But he offered his owner an option that would suit him better now. This tower is similar to the one Khan destroyed first this season, although it doesn't matter, because he's not here for prey, but to let off steam. At the same time, he will use the true three-fingered blade of the heavenly demon. Stupid characteristics of a stupid game add all sorts of useless suffixes and prefixes. But the summoning of the heavenly demon has an effect on our hero's body. He felt so bad that he felt death approaching. At first, our hero cursed the damn old man. But the tuning of the vessel began. Now the power of the heavenly demon will always be with our hero. He received a blessing, a heavenly demon bone, and his body was completely transformed under the influence of this power. This is what it means to be transformed to the very bones. But our hero hopes that this transformation will not affect his magnificent appearance in any way. Immediately after this, the ceiling collapsed and access to the 2nd floor was opened. From that side, a group of monsters turned their attention to our hero. They all fell upon Khan in a crowd. A good opportunity to test out the new product. Now he has a 3rd base move, which was not included in the previous descent of the heavenly demon. This technique has no name because it is meaningless. However, it is unclear why it was not included in the previous indulgence. Definitely after passing the test, everything changed. And our hero is interested in how much he will be able to use in the end. Can approach the door of the main boss of this tower. As soon as the doors open, he will come in. The synchronization process has begun. The merger with the deposed lord, the Lord of the Sword, has begun. This notification raised many questions in our hero's mind about the deposed lord. In the first season, they stopped the ritual of descent of the deposed Plague Lord. It turns out the Sky Demon was also a lord. He said that he was looking for an incredibly talented fighter who would show him what defeat is. For the first time, he meets a mortal who managed to kill a lord. It seems that this is why his reaction was like this, because Khan managed to kill his equal. Our hero received a new notification. Countless lords watch him silently. The Clown Lord looks at him with a blank stare. Our hero felt a lot of pressure. And the clown laughed at how serious Khan was. What terrible bastards. Finally, our hero reached the floor with the boss. But unlike last time, this time he killed him with one blow. Now he felt the true power of the heavenly demon. However, it seems he went overboard with the 3rd dose. His body can't handle this skill yet. Therefore, energy flows collide and conflict with each other. Everything in the world is meaningless. The other lords deemed the heavenly demon worthy of the title of lord, but it doesn't matter what the source of this power is. After all, now it belongs only to our hero, and this power undoubtedly impresses him. Afterwards, Kang called the department head Pak, but he responded with a rather annoying joke. He called the king a little hero who comes running to him whenever help is needed. After this, Khan thought that he should consider French citizenship. Jokes aside, Pak is still ready to listen to his request. Our hero said that nothing serious had happened. He just needed a sparring partner. It is unclear at what point the National Intelligence Organization became the Hero King's Errand Boys. Then Khan suggested changing the name of the organization to the Hero King's Errand Boys. According to the conditions, they have complete freedom of action. And our hero will only use the descent of the heavenly demon. Khan will refuse to use artifacts and enhancements, and the Shadow Beast will also not participate in sparring. Pak agreed, but decided to find out what about the weapons. Instead of chatting, our hero decided to show. The intelligence organization's people were very surprised by what they saw. Our hero pulled out 2 blades from which a green, acidic liquid flowed. It is obvious that this is the power of the Plague Lord. Blades of black death, saturated with poisonous energy. Our hero received the blessing of the equipped weapon, 666 recipes of the Plague Lord's poison. He told Pak that he had passed the exam so that he wouldn't be too scared. And by the way, one of the poisons available in recipes has a chance to be applied to an enemy once every 5 minutes. It's time for them to go. But for some reason, everyone from the intelligence department is too gloomy. Khan said that he would only use blades and the descent of the heavenly demon. Pak asked our hero to promise something. To allow the boys to die painlessly. They won't even have time to realize that they've died. Their fight would begin as soon as the fireworks were launched, and Kan asked them to give it their all. He hopes that their squad of assassins has been well trained up to this point, but today they will definitely get a very useful lesson from the Hero King. Pak's team pounced on him as soon as the fireworks burned out, but he was immediately grabbed. Our hero easily fights the entire crowd at once, not allowing anyone to approach him. Then Pak showed himself. He took out his best weapon from his inventory, the Heartbreaker. But our hero will never fall for his pathetic tricks. Although, because he underestimates Pak, he almost got caught. Only Kana's extensive battle experience and dexterity saved him. But that wasn't the end. Immediately after Pak's attack, the others immediately pounced on him like a flock of hungry birds. The intelligence people are indeed very good, but no better than the Hero King. Some of them even had Charlotte's Web. But Khan dealt with that too, after which he began to look for the owner of this web. It turned out to be Kaya, their best student, who was not at all afraid of the approach of our hero. After all, we must not forget that he does not stand against the Hero King one-on-one. Although Khan never forgot about this, he was simply confident in his abilities. After all, with just one attack, he is capable of getting rid of their entire gang. At the same time, I physically felt that double blades were twice as effective. Mr. Pak was scared. He thought that he would die along with the others. Their sparring had just begun, and they were already all tired. Pak suggested that they stop the beatings at this point, since they couldn't take it anymore. Our hero turned this place into ruins. According to Pak, if Khan wanted to, he could take over the world, because he is not sure that his characteristics can be measured. But our hero doesn't think he could have done it. It's time to finish cleaning the tower and go back to rest. The remaining 3 coped well and returned to their world. Pak woke up his colleagues who had flown out after our hero's attack. They didn't even have time to understand when they died. Everything happened exactly as our hero promised, so they didn't even feel it. Khan received a notification that the tower of an alternate history awaits him. Lieutenant General Kilgore needs his help. It seems that our hero is not particularly happy about this, and he hopes that if he refuses, no invasion will happen. But after thinking a little, he decided to agree. He had warmed up well, and now it was time for a real battle. Khan thanked the intelligence officers for the warm-up and responded to the call. However, for some reason, Pak did not understand what he was doing. Our hero didn't explain anything to him and simply went to the 7th level tower. Here, thanks to the enormous efforts of the necromancer, in the year 194, the dictatorial empire of Pochi achieved victory. It seems that the Lieutenant General is very concerned when the wings of democracy are broken, even if it is the world of the tower. Kilgore was very surprised to see Kang, because he was sure that this tower was not connected with South Korea. However, our hero noticed that he himself sent a request for help. Although this old man doesn't look like a man who would ask for help from such a brat. Our hero received a notification from which he learned that this was all a joke by the ruler's clown. This is the first time he receives a fake request. And what disappoints him most is that he could have stayed home. Khan admitted his mistake to Kilgore. But what can you do? He was called, and he immediately rushed over. It is too early to give up. Those who are armed and oppose democracy look like a threat. There was nothing to be done. The Lieutenant General thanked our hero for his participation. Even if this world is inside the tower, as a person who grew up in a democratic country, he declares that capitulation is not the solution. There is no doubt about Khan's skill, so the Lieutenant General will join him. In a moment, they will both be transported to the starting point of this story. Facing the fear of becoming one big family will undoubtedly lead to success. However, as a man who hated imperialism so much, he teamed up with that old man at the tower. Despite the hatred, he joined him, which means he was afraid of the Hero King. Khan didn't have time to say what would happen to him if he deceived them. They were thrown into the thick of things. The general immediately began to figure out who was who. Lieutenant Aldo Pitt came out in front of him. He is currently the commander of a guerrilla group, the Bastards, which is part of the internal forces of the Kitten Nation. Since they are not in a military camp, our hero has already guessed where they ended up. Lieutenant General Kilgore asked Lieutenant Aldo to give him a report on the current situation. At the moment, they are in the center of the enemy camp. They are not facing necromancers, but ordinary people. Necromancers are the most elite troops. These guys are definitely not joking. Kilgore is confident they can flounder as long as they like. He has one specific task. All you need to do is kill everyone in the enemy camp. Kilgore will explain his plan to everyone, and then they will begin. And his plan turned out to be quite short. Just go and kill everyone who gets in their way. He ordered that the enemies be dealt a cruel and evil death. The elite squad of the 101st Battalion, Pochi Imperius, surrounds the area. The Lieutenant General set up a shield and ordered the others to follow right behind him. The entire squad took out their weapons and shouted democratic slogans, and our hero lazily trudged forward without enthusiasm. It's not like he's particularly interested in participating in something like that. However, he noticed enemy soldiers on the roof of a nearby building. Khan reached them in an instant and got rid of them just as quickly, and the Lieutenant General was not at all lagging behind on the ground. At the same time, we managed to keep an eye on our hero. Kilgore climbed onto the roof using a drone to remind Khan that he had asked him to kill them brutally. Although our hero doesn't really understand it, they are finished anyway. The general is confident that enemy allies must see how cruelly their comrade dies. To imagine this pain. So much so that the mere thought of their sins would make their throats clench. The enemy army launched fighters into the air. This greatly frightened the allies since they had nothing capable of responding. But the Lieutenant General is ready to show everyone how real aces work. He raised his finger and opened a portal, the same ability he used against Khan. Now Kilgore's fighters went out against the enemy fighters, his esteemed F-23. The center of the village was engulfed in explosions and fires. The Democrats were delighted to have such strong allies on their side. The general asked them to remember what they must do for peace. However, Khan does not understand how one can prepare for war for the sake of peace. But this assumption of our hero made Kilgore laugh. For the sake of peace, there is no need to prepare for war, but to start it. The Continental Meeting Tower has been cleared. The enemy leader has received information about players on the Alliance side. Georg Billmeyer paid his debt to the immortal monarch, but he asked for something in order to truly realize his ideology. He asked the generous one to postpone this moment and indulge himself a little. With the monarch's blessing, the necromancer's return is postponed. By his actions, he will prove his loyalty to him. The Lieutenant General, a military fanatic, loves the smell of napalm in the morning. Everywhere there is a stench of napalm, gasoline, the disgusting smell of victory. Kilgore asked Lieutenant Aldo Pitt where the enemy command center was. The Pochi Empire's governorate is currently located in the Kitten Kingdom's skyscraper. The heart of the Union became their governorate general, their symbol of freedom, a bronze statue of the president. The general ordered to step on the gas. He really wants to destroy this statue right now. However, we will have to break through or find another way because the road is blocked. Standing in their way is the 13th Elite Occult Battalion of the Pochi Empire. Our hero volunteered to deal with the necromancers, and the rest will go around and head towards the enemy's main base. Using their power, the necromancers called upon the dead to help. It's time for Darkness's lunch. These guys are just handsome. The enemy is using the corpses of the defeated. Now it's clear why those guys resisted so desperately. But when Khan called these necromancers crazy bastards, Dark One noted that he himself was not much different from them. Although, in the opinion of our hero, what he did in the past is completely different. Although, after thinking for a bit, he himself became confused about whether his actions were any different. It seems that these zombies still have their minds and memories. But despite this, our hero still has no choice. He needs to get rid of them anyway, or they will do it first. However, the Plague Lord's blades do have some abilities. These zombies are no longer subject to necromancers. Now they don't even need to do anything. They will get rid of the enemy themselves. Georg greeted us and noticed that our hero had already understood the charm of necromancy. Khan reported that he is not the only one making noise here. There is also a typical American soldier. In this story, Georg Billmeyer holds the highest rank in the Imperial elite troops. He asked Khan to rate his form, One boy told him that it was a joy to the eyes. But our hero has no intention of doing anything like that. The necromancer believes that he cannot lose to the descent of the heavenly demon. He used his strongest ability and summoned the Grave Lord. Khan heard that Georg is a company manager, so it is unclear when he managed to acquire such abilities. But the Hero King is not just a heavenly demon. He also has Blades of Plague. This old man would like to have the same sword in his collection. Our hero canceled the weapon equipment and hid the blades in the inventory. He changed the ability to raise Dead Soldier to Frost Crafter. After all, it's pointless to use a necromantic skill against an adept of necromancy. Unknown elders watched the duel between two players. Georg Billmeyer was the first to attack, but the target was not Khan. The selected target does not meet the living creature requirement. The Plague Lord's power was unleashed. Ashes must become ashes. The skill Baptism of Darkness and Veil of Darkness is activated. Player Khan's attack power, stealth, evasion, correction, and dex stats increase dramatically. Georg is debuffed by the Veil effect, but it seems he has something up his sleeve too. He doesn't know what about these skeletons, but he can see everything himself. Georg asked Khan not to be mistaken in thinking that a necromancer cannot fight in close combat. However, he was overconfident, fell into an illusion, and our hero attacked from behind. Since the old man was already on the verge of death, Khan would like to check something. He put a black seal on it and decided to see what would happen. After all, Georg had to face the hero, and such an opportunity was wasted. He is confident that he will definitely succeed next time, but I felt an alien feeling. Our hero told him that there would be no next time. He would die. A player cannot kill another player inside the tower. Khan shouldn't have killed Georg. At this moment, the Elder of Immortality forcibly removed the player Georg from the game. The Elder of Jesters and Unknown Elders mock the Elder of Immortality. The Death Elder expresses his satisfaction with the player Khan. The Tower of the Alternate History has been completed. From the Death Elder, our hero received a heroic accessory, the Executioner. The news of the raid by the Hero King and the Lieutenant General was immediately picked up by journalists. Khan said that Kilgore begged him to join him on the raid, which is how he ended up in the tower. In response to journalists, the Lieutenant General can say only one thing. Before becoming a player, he was an ardent patriot, so he called for returning America to its former greatness. But they already have two great things: the number of people who believe in angels and the size of the national defense budget. People in black suits came out to Kanu. They asked him to go with them. Our hero guesses who they are. CIA agents who look like a picture drawn by someone. The Lieutenant General checked their documents. They were indeed from the CIA. Khan reminded them that they would have to bear responsibility for his kidnapping. The agent asked not to create unnecessary fuss. He was only asking the Hero King for cooperation. But his manager asked him not to follow unfamiliar men. Khan prefers to follow the Lieutenant General. The agents grabbed our hero and pushed him into the car. Kilgore told reporters that this was a procedure for protecting the hero and asked them not to worry. However, they managed to film it on camera, and this video reached Pak. He, in turn, asked his colleagues to track them down. Our hero was taken to headquarters in New York. He was informed that a private jet was planned to be ready for the next day. The CIA scanned 500 towers in the country and found no connection to South Korea. And since it's already March, the Hero King can't use a regular passenger plane and put other people in danger, so he needs to wait until everything is ready. But during this time, our hero will be able to get a good night's sleep. But he was unable to sleep. Very soon, the agents began arguing about something. This woke our hero up, and he decided to ask about what had happened, since it obviously concerned him. Oddly enough, they received permission from their superiors to disclose the information to Kanu. They showed him a video. The situation really does look like a horror movie. It depicts the consequences of the crime of a black player, at whose hands many innocent people suffered. The location is East Harlem, just over 2 miles from headquarters. All this was captured 3 or 4 hours after they completed the raid. The only thing found at the crime scene was a map. Everything points to the fact that the Collector of Personalities has reappeared, right at this time, right here. Our hero may regard this as a provocation, so I decided to teach someone a lesson. He asked the agents not to stand still, but to take him to the crime scene. After all, it is important for the CIA to find the criminal. Our hero was put in a car to East Harlem. At this time, the black player was still in this place. For all his actions, The Elder of Mirrors expresses satisfaction. The personality collector pulled the girl's face over himself and took her microphone. She was warned that she should not make any mistakes in his presence, to which he replied that he would take it into account. This is great because he is already tired of playing the villain. He can become anyone, but he wants to be the king of heroes. In this world, it is possible to deliberately not use any skills or equipment. The leaderboard included players who hid their names, those who existed in a closed area. They are intelligence agents from various countries who need to hide their identities, or operational forces that are being secretly built up, or black players who hide and wait for the right moment to commit a crime. The personality collector is one of them. He escaped pursuit of the player who finished 10th last season. He is the worst black player and has also killed several of the most advanced players. If Khan had known that he would meet him like this, he would have listened to everything in more detail. It seems that he was called to the tower in the first place because of this guy, in order to put them on the same stage. A CIA agent brought our hero to the place where the personality collector was spotted. The executive authorities have completely cordoned off this area. At first, our hero thought that this was some other place, but when he went inside, he realized that it still looked like the crime in the photograph. Something's wrong here. Khan is not a detective. He is usually responsible for destruction. One of the agents said he needed to see something, placing the removed skin on the dead body. After this, the dead man's eyes opened, his skin grew back, and he was completely resurrected. This ability is somewhat reminiscent of necromancy. However, others began to stand up after him. Our hero is not at all scared, but he is curious about what the enemy is trying to do, and the agent standing behind him asked him to guess. It looks like this is all a trap for a personality collector. Our hero activated his ice ability, preparing for an attack in advance. He has the traits of a hero, but soon it will be clear who lured whom into a trap. Our hero began to get rid of the enemies with his ice sword, but they were not so weak either. Everything that the collector of personalities says, the dead pronounce with one voice. This black player is definitely weird. The collector thinks our hero is not so unique, and M is the only one who recognizes him. Khan suggested that M was some kind of boss of a secret organization that included the strongest of the depths, and he was not mistaken. The boss only has to give the order, and the black players will kill dozens of players like the Hero King. It seems that killing the personality collector quietly will not work. The enemy asked our hero not to worry about this. The black player used a spatial barrier skill, which transports the combatants into a kind of arena. The whole plan probably involves eliminating the Hero King. It seems like the world is about to collapse, and a collector of personalities wants to take on the role of the villain. Our hero is already tired of this job of protecting peace throughout the world, but the personality collector suggested that Kanu look at something. He thinks it will be a spectacular sight when this planet is destroyed. Like that scene in Season 1 where the whole Earth was on fire and there was all this screaming. The personality collector misses this, but wants to kill Khan for another reason. While fooling around, he put on a face and asked our hero to listen to him carefully. The world would be better off without the Hero King. Khan is not the center of the world and its guardian. The collector of personalities is sure that the world will fall easily if the Hero King disappears, and then he will appear as if nothing had happened. He thinks it's a great idea to take away Khan's face and become the Hero King himself. However, our hero is sure that these newbie bastards didn't even go on raids against the seasonal boss. He released Charlotte's Web and got rid of all the puppets attacking him at once. It's not that the black players couldn't go after the boss, they just didn't do it. The season was already over. There was no reward, so he didn't want to risk his life. Only idiots would do that. And he says that the world will exist just fine without the Hero King. It looks like Kanu will have to tell him the truth. Characteristics of the Hero King. There is only one land in the whole world. The characteristic of the land is that it is centered around the Hero King. The day of his death is the day of the end of the earth. The characteristic of pseudo-madness is that all this is insignificant in front of the real truth. The collector of personalities replied that one of the strongest had forgotten his place. But before the depths, everyone is weak. However, the enemy managed to surprise our hero when it disintegrated into many fragments. This body also turned out to be non-main. The personality collector will no longer hide his power, and Khan's face will soon be his. Apparently, he really wants our hero's face. Characteristics for pseudo-crazy villains. You have to beat the crap out of him, but the enemy is confident that our hero will not be able to hit him. Like their childish pranks, the personality collector can see everything. However, Khan still managed to do it. The web cutting off the black player's limbs. He couldn't even understand how it happened. It's obvious that this one is real. He was destroyed by the same method that the black players use, and he doesn't need to be told that he actually has fighting skill. After beheading several players by sneaking up on them from behind in a cowardly manner. They didn't expect this. Dying and killing in the tower are different things. They weren't supposed to die. Now the collector of personalities appeared before the king as a hero, in front of someone who never loses to such bastards. As soon as our hero defeated the black player, the spatial barrier disappeared. The executive authorities rushed to search for the hero king. When they entered, they saw him surrounded by a pile of corpses, including his own people and agents. Naturally, they immediately thought about what it all looked like. But Lieutenant General Kilgore calmed them down and decided to first listen to the player Khan's version. Our hero said that he was lured into a trap, and the collector of personalities was waiting inside, and he sent this ghoul to God. He is a little disfigured, but he can still be identified. There should be no doubt, because he looks like a psychopathic killer. According to a CIA officer's report, Khan unilaterally unleashed his barrier abilities. However, he was kidnapped as soon as he left the tower. It is stupid to think that the barrier is his, and he does not want to report. It's as if Kilgore is so stupid that he can't recognize the spy, and it's too late to look for him. They've all escaped. Our hero allowed himself to suggest, if the Lieutenant General continues to doubt, then perhaps he too was involved in organizing what happened. But if Kilgore was the one who set the trap, he wouldn't have sent one collector after the hero king. It would be the most reckless idea, which sounds true. But the CIA agents are not fake, but real. After all this story, our hero finally reached his home country. There he was met by Mr. Pack, who had been given such a lot, to look after a crazy person who is always creating problems. For the sake of peace, Khan sent the villain to the afterlife. And after all that, he has to listen to such remarks. The media is all over the place discussing the battle between the hero king and the collector, and it looks like he'll be mercilessly chewed out again. This is a great achievement. A victory for one of the worst black players. In the evening, Can looked at the night city from the balcony and thought about all sorts of things. It's already March, and these bastards are not nervous at all. They are still talking about the threat of terrorist attacks. But player growth is gradually returning to normal, and they have already started local wars between players in Russia. Our hero opened the status window, the equipment window, and the inventory. One of the 8th level towers may be opened during this month. A boss that only appeared in Season 1, and a tower breakout occurred in Season 2. It was a multi-level tower that managed to erase part of the world map. Khan received an inventory item, Executioner's Oath, a heroic accessory that applies 3 stat weakness debuffs to an enemy. It seemed that the Death Elder was pleased with the humiliation of the Immortal Elder. Then our hero decided to open the packs of cards and see what was in them. He decided that they would correspond to the received item, but among them, there were only normal and ordinary level ones. Well, at least there are additional calibrations for the Frostmaster skill. Even without equipping a common level Frost skill, Khan can still use it through abilities. Our hero decided not to open it further. It seemed that today was definitely not his day. He has 5 stacks that use kill notification, 1 that uses Oath, and 3 that use Oath. This means that the debuff effect of weakness can be transferred to a full stack. A couple of days later, a drawing from memory of the villain that appeared on the towers of the 3rd and 5th level arenas appeared on the forums. Reading this, the head of KAI, Lee Seon-ho, becomes increasingly convinced that it is Kang Yu-sung, but he is not yet completely sure. And one of the forum participants started a fuss about KAI itself, saying that they should sort this out, but they are doing nothing. In the end, Lee Seon-ho sent the executive to catch this villain Wawa and deal with the online gossip. Grim Reapers walk through the city streets, frightening ordinary citizens. One of them will go into the tower and deal with this Wawa, and the rest will wait and take him on the way out. Team B's leader, Lee Shi-hyuk, will deal with the person who breaks the rules. Immediately after entering, he saw the same villain who walks around and smurfs newcomers, saying, "Wah wah," before killing them, for which he got the name. Finally, Vok Vok waited for the Great Reaper. It was so hot in this robe that he had to cover his body with ice. Reaper thought that this player was simply on the Hero King's side, but their voices were too similar. Their organization never considered the Hero King valuable. If they like this villain so much, then he has no choice but to live up to expectations. After all, the Reaper himself commented on an article about a player fighting newcomers in arenas. He justified himself by saying that writing comments was an order from his superiors. Under the mask, there really was a Hero King. Khan took off his ice armor and dark cloak. In that case, he won't miss it. The Reapers simply gave up. He doesn't even hope to fight on par with the Hero King. Our hero once again won in the arena. He left through the same exit as the loser, and his subordinates saw their boss defeated. Kan noticed that he had worked hard today, but the hounds were apparently not having a very good day. According to the association's regulations, a high-ranking player is prohibited from preying on low-ranking players. However, according to our hero, in this world, everyone has a low rank except himself, and the Hero King also wants to go to the arena and also uses the cards of the losers. He's not just going to sit there sucking his thumb without even looking at the arena until the end of the season. The association is not a law, so why should Khan follow any instructions? If their executive wants trouble, they can try to stop him. Group B, including their leader, understand that they cannot defeat the Hero King, even by joining forces. If so, Khan will continue to search for those freaks who mocked him. He needs to show how scary he is. Then they will laugh at him less. And now the whole world will know how powerless Kai and its executive branch are. They are not even afraid of the association's penalty points. One of the Reapers couldn't take it anymore and confessed something. Yes, he was flooding the forum with this wah wah. And now let the Hero King take him. Then the other Reapers joined him, because they were also involved in this. They all left comments with hatred towards the Hero King. Their leader stood up and ordered his subordinates to stop the villain. Wah wah. Our hero was a little surprised by this sight. They seemed to have decided to play the fools. However, Khan soon received a sufficient number of points in the arena thanks to Group B. He never thought he would benefit from the association. He got the keycard and completed the creation of the second deck. When our hero went to page 2 to see the Plague Killer setting, then he got into the transition to the Throne of the End and fell down for some time. After this, Khan entered the tower, where he was greeted as the King of Heroes. The Throne of the End seems to be the place where 999 elders have gathered. However, it still remains a mystery to him why they invited him here. One of them magically appeared right in front of our hero. As the elder of the games, he apologized to Khan Yusung. There are too many things he has to apologize for. So our hero asked him to be more specific. When Khan fought the player Georg in the alternate history tower, the player had already raided the tower. He was given an exceptional reprieve and was allowed to remain in the world coordinates. All this was thanks to the consent of the elders. They wanted to see the battle of the Hero King. Despite this, they still interrupted their duel and sent the Gravedigger away. The elders' disappointment was enormous, as it was a doubles match, and the Immortal Elder was rejected. But the Elder of Immortality spoke of the possibility that their match would abolish the rule that a player cannot kill a player. And in the end, he insisted that the fight be cancelled. It is not true that Khan could not kill a player in the tower. Our hero bears the name Elder Slayer. Of course, the probability is very close to 0%. Even the Throne Council should think about it. Among the 999 elders, 995 insist that the Elder of Immortality was falsely accused, and the 4 elders interrogated him. But besides this, one great elder wonders about the responsibility of the Immortal Elder, and as a result, the Elder of Immortality was found guilty. This will not lead to his overthrow from the throne, but the Elder of Immortality will have to pay for his actions. In addition, the opportunity to receive a reward is provided to our hero. Everything that happens in this game depends only on Khan, as it always has. They sent our hero to the Tower of the Elder of Immortality. He has no opportunity to change the deck. There is no goal for the raid. It is unclear what to do, and it is still unknown what the reward will be for it. There is absolutely no one around. But our hero heard someone's voice talking to him. He asks to look down and dig under the sand. He has seen many of the players come here and die, if you can call it death. But this place is really very dangerous, and this voice will help Kanu get out. Kan dug a human skull out of the sand. and it looks like he's the one talking to it. He welcomed our hero to a world where there is no death. The deceased player will be transferred to the ordinary world. But if you can't die in this world, then it's still unclear how to return back. Skull said that, to be precise, Khan would be reborn every midnight. He himself always rises from the dead with his head in the sand. The great immortal emperor sacrificed this world. To become an elder, he had to give up what he loved most, but he loved his empire. That's why he gave it away. The curse of eternity is imposed on this world. There is no death here. In the end, his own life turned out to be the most important thing. But the skull forbade him to speak like that. Kanu didn't care. He suggested that it would be better to talk about the treasures that were kept here. If the player wants treasure, then they need to go to the Imperial Palace. There has been no guard there for a long time. But ahead, they were met by the skull's friends, who would make the adventure more interesting. It's like an arena for farming experience. It's time for darkness to pay for food. Our hero, fighting skeletons, raised one level after another. As soon as they were all finished, he noticed that it was almost midnight. Then all the skeletal remains around Khan disappeared, and they appeared at their original position. They respawned. This is the best method of farming. Our hero was not at all upset and defeated the bony army once again. After that, I took a break at a small oasis to look at my achievements. He spent points on a new ability, sword manipulation, heroic level, awakened. He received a new ability and also raised his level to 69. Now it's time to look for treasures. It seems that the skull also likes the idea of going to the Imperial Palace and getting rich. True, the entrance looks dubious. It was as if only the tip of the roof remained on the surface, sticking out of the water. But Khan went anyway. After all, it would be a shame if he didn't find anything. Skull thought he would die and be sent back under the sand. Surprisingly, he also needed to breathe. Khan asked him to stop talking nonsense and show him where the treasury was. But suddenly they met the Elder of Immortality. Skull immediately switched sides, claiming that he had brought the robber to him. Our hero used an ability that helps him see his opponent's skills and weaknesses. The great immortal emperor has tremendous combat capabilities, uses high-level necromancy with various curses and black magic. Our hero activated the ability Veil of Darkness. He is sure that in front of him is just a shell. However, the Emperor stood up and accepted the fight. His sword is large, but he wields it quickly and skillfully. Our hero received a curse of weakness and an evil hand. It would be great if he changed the deck before coming here, but this kind of arrangement even excites Kana. He can also use the weakness curse that the Emperor placed on him. You should have activated the murder warning before coming here. Due to the movement speed debuff our hero received, he cannot even touch the enemy. This slows him down a lot and gets in the way. We need to come up with something, otherwise this could go on forever. But for Khan, the situation on the battlefield became more complicated. The sword's energy produces ghosts that fight on the Emperor's side. The ice swords manage to block them. However, with all this, we must not forget about the Emperor himself. With the help of the heavenly demon, our hero managed to repel the attack, but received an additional debuff, an evil hand. The curse is already haunting me. And now there's his skill with a sword. Heavenly Demon's Descent allows Kanu to temporarily induce the divine state of a heavenly demon into his body. When clashing swords with a strong opponent, he will be able to absorb a fragment of their experience and memories. Also, as a note, Khan can still possess a skill card without destroying it even if the season resets. During the battle, our hero saw a fragment of the immortal Emperor's memory. Yes, this is indeed a broken skill. However, this ability allows our hero to see more than just memories. Every time he clashes swords with a strong opponent, he destroys his technique. As this progresses, Kang becomes increasingly adept at dealing with the immortal emperor. Now he sees how the enemy controls the sword. And thanks to this, despite the curses, he can strike his blow. Our hero put the emperor on his shoulder blades and used shadow needles. While the enemy is temporarily immobilized, Khan can strike harder. Our hero rose above him and gathered mana into an ice spear, and having struck the Emperor, he received the sign of death. Khan also placed a debuff on him, a weakness effect that has maximum stacks. Our hero saw another fragment from the Emperor's memory. There, he shared with a young man that he did not want to die, and he asked him not to worry about it. The boy asked the Emperor to do everything as he said. Then even death would not dare to harm him. This voice seemed very familiar to our hero, but at the moment it doesn't matter. We need to finish off the immortal emperor, so much so that he could not even be resurrected. His time had come to return to the void. Our hero cleared the tower of the Elder of Immortality. Immediately after this, the world inside the tower began to collapse. The skull immediately returned. Now our hero understood where he heard this voice. He didn't even think that Khan would actually defeat the great emperor. He can't believe it. This is the first time he sees such a strong person as the Hero King. But the skull has no intention of dying along with this world, and also intends to generously repay the winner. Khan received heroic, rare, and legendary rank cards. He also received the blessing of reigning as an immortal king. Since the immortal great emperor is dead, the curse of resurrection is lifted. Now no one will be resurrected in this world anymore. But even if this skeleton dies, it will return safely to the world of Khan. This was the promise made by the elders. Then this skeleton said goodbye and told our hero that they would see each other again. Returning home, Khan began to sort through his inventory. The cards he obtained in the Immortal Emperor's Tower greatly increased his abilities. It was a really good reward. The skeleton turned out to be quite generous. However, Kanu is interested in his last words, that they will meet again. He is very interested in who this skeleton really is. Our hero received a call from Pak to find out what he was doing there. Khan's points on the rating board looked strange, but he was just lucky enough to find a very juicy hunting spot. Although, despite this, the 8th level towers are still closed. Our hero has only 1 level left until his second awakening, as expected from the King of Heroes. Pak noted that at this rate, Kang would become the Elder of the Heroes. Kanu only has 1 level left until his second awakening. At this rate, he will become an Elder of Heroes. But these are just jokes. Our hero is more interested in which tower Pak will recommend to him. There are no specific ones yet, but there is one that looks a little strange. Several players have already tried to complete it, but after the release, something strange happened. They didn't even finish the raid. They abandoned it and returned back. In addition, they said that they had to guard the tower and not let anyone inside. Looks like they need a player with increased resistance to brainwashing. Khan has a blessing of pure water that gives some insane resistance. The description says that the heart of a knowledgeable person is free from random thoughts. Pretense and vain greed are like calm water. Our hero went to the place and entered the Tower of Peace. He did not know what awaited him inside. But then I realized what scared the players who failed this raid so much. On the streets of the game city, all the residents are happy and laughing. Their life seems peaceful, but the purpose of this raid is massacre. 3 people who looked like church ministers approached our hero. They already know that, on the orders of Elder Kong, he came here to kill them all. Our hero didn't explain anything. He just equipped his armor and weapons. There is no one in this city who can stop him. Only old people, children, and widows with newborn babies. Suddenly, all the people fell on their knees before our hero, begging for mercy and promising to do whatever he ordered them to do. They beg for mercy. And this is the world inside the tower, which is supposed to be difficult besides. It is declared as the 7th level. According to the old man, they did nothing. The elder thirsts for their blood for the same reason why people step on ants. There is no higher reason. The evil gods do the same. However, in the opinion of our hero, the elders are not simple scoundrels, and they are not gods. So they better stop giving meaningless hints and trying to brainwash Kanu. The old man did not believe that our hero would actually do what he came for. However, he also has a world that he needs to protect. Our hero kept wondering who these people were who seemed to be leading the others. It turned out that fallen angels were standing in front of him. In vain did they hope that they, the guardians of the light who had betrayed and shamefully fled, would be left in peace. The Elder of Light sent 3 guardians to destroy these innocent people. That is why they decided to disobey his order and protect them. The angel in the middle, who has been negotiating all this time, is the leader. It's not brainwashing, as they wouldn't have been able to reach Khan with the blessing. His vision, smell, and hearing are fine, so it's not an illusion. If you stay on the side of the Light Elder and kill innocent people, it is the 7th level. But our hero can't help but think about how everything will change if he takes their side. There is a chance that Kanu may not need to kill them to complete the raid. After thinking about all this for a bit, Our hero took off his armor. The mothers' faces showed hope that the stranger would not start a massacre in the city. However, sometimes you have to choose the lesser of two evils. The Guardian of Light tried to reason with Khan, as he intended to sacrifice this world to protect his own. But this can be turned around and the other way around, because they themselves want to sacrifice our hero's world to protect their own. The people despaired, and the Guardians prepared to fight. But heroes in such situations usually say that if you have to choose between two evils, it is better to choose neither. The Guardian of Light is already confused. He doesn't know what to expect. Our hero threw his weapon at his feet. As a player, he refused to carry out a raid on this tower. The Elder of Light is furious at the disobedience, but some support our hero's decision. The Shadow Elder expelled player Kan Yu-sung into the outside world. The Elders chuckle and support the player's decision. However, this is already the second unsuccessful attempt to raid the World Tower. The destruction of the 7th level tower is inevitable. Mr. Pak said barricades had been erected around the park where the tower was located. Those within a 5-kilometer radius have been ordered to evacuate. Khan asked not to send players. They will only get in the way. He intends to sort this out himself. Pak, of course, grumbled at our hero, because this is a 7th level tower. This situation is serious. There is no need to worry, because Khan fought and hunted in the towers and killed many creatures. But despite this, he refused to kill the angels in this tower. Our hero himself does not fully understand why he did this. Surely everything would have been much simpler if he had simply killed everyone. As is already clear, the situation has gotten out of Pak's control. The countdown to the tower's destruction has begun. The Guardians of Light came to this world primarily to unleash their fury on Khan. The Elder of Light wants our hero to pay for his sins before the light. Khan worries whether 5 kilometers is enough to prevent destruction in the city. The Elder of Light received a serious warning, and a barrier was created to ensure fair play. Until player Kang Yu-sung dies, the Light Keepers will not be able to leave this barrier. Now, our hero's worries are unnecessary. All he has to do is focus on victory. A temporary Shadow Wings buff is given to the player and their minions that are summoned by the player and play for them. Interesting. Wings and heavy armor. The perfect uncle image. Our heroes summoned an army of the dead to the battlefield. They are, of course, not as strong in comparison with the Keepers of Light, but they can compensate for this with quantity, and it will also allow them to be distracted so that Khan doesn't have to fight the entire squad at the same time. After some time, the number of Light Keepers decreased, and our hero continued to reduce this number. Khan's necromancy has another ability, causing great damage by exploding corpses. Used corpses cannot be resurrected using necromancy skills. The Immortal King's aura increased the class of the undead around the player. The Immortal Great Emperor's black heavy armor has increased the rarity of the undead's weapons. Khan applied the curses of weakness and evil hand to the guardians, as well as 2 graves. And on the blade he activated the ability, a swarm of locusts. Our hero also exchanged 3 cards in the second deck. His class has been upgraded from Cursed Dark Mage to Dark Magic Assassin. In addition, the locusts spread Charlotte's Web, which chopped up the enemies. Now, among the Keepers of Light, only a few remain. The most persistent, or lucky ones. Our hero went into close combat with them. In the end, there were no enemies left. Khan had destroyed all the creatures. At the end of the fight, the barrier was removed, and the enhancement, the Shadow Wings, was also cancelled. The tower's destruction has been stopped. Our hero's level has been increased, and the quest for the second awakening has been unlocked. Kill notifications have reached their maximum level. All this time, reporters were waiting at the barricades for the opportunity to interview the Hero King. And as soon as the destruction of the tower was stopped, they immediately rushed to him. The main thing they were interested in was the Hero King's refusal to raid the tower. Khan will answer all their questions, but I would like them to approach one at a time. Rumors that Khan had deliberately abandoned the tower raid were already circulating. Our hero did not deny them, because it was true. The journalists are shocked, because the Hero King deliberately attacked their city. In their opinion, this can be regarded as an officially committed terrorist act. Seeing an opportunity, the organization dedicated to criminal offenses against players is already ready. Among them is Alias, known as a player killer. Our hero asked reporters and ordinary people not to worry about what happened. He did this without any explanation. But he was not yet completely crazy. After entering the tower, he was ordered to kill all the children and old people. The purpose of the raid was a massacre, so Khan just left them and walked out. And if the reporters don't believe it, they can ask the players who came there before our hero and also abandoned the raid. But reporters still consider it irresponsible, and his decision could have led to huge problems. However, in any case, Kanu managed to prevent the tower's destruction without any losses. Everyone is sure that the player's mission is to protect their homeworld, and there is no guarantee that the world inside the tower is real. For some reason, people are convinced that someone else's world is less important than their own. They seem to think that in order for them to sleep peacefully at night, Khan had to kill all the innocent inhabitants inside the tower. Among the people our hero had to kill were also children. Khan did not put his world in danger. He did not, in principle, weigh the importance of lives here and there. After assessing the situation, he realized that he could save both worlds. And in the end, he did just that. And if people want to get rid of the fears that surround them, let them turn to a specialist, but not to Khan. His moral dilemma could have led to the destruction of the world, but our hero does not consider this a moral dilemma. There is a much more important moral question about whether this world is worth saving. They say that Khan uses the hero image as a childish defense mechanism, shows it to hold this world as collateral. How can a sparrow know the will of a phoenix? And the bronze, silver, and gold classes are the vulnerabilities that the challenger sees. Our hero suggested ending it, and the phoenix reached the underworld. This expression can mean that a person has given up and is deliberately trying to end the game quickly. Members of the organization that deals with criminal offenses by players took this as an admission. According to international laws on players, he was the culprit in the tower's collapse. They were about to arrest our hero, but Pak managed to snatch him from the crowd and jump aside. Before the announcement of international legislation, based on the citizenship of the player Khan Yusan and the country, in accordance with criminal law, they will be the first to receive the accused. A characteristic trait of the Grey Cardinal is to always smile and never lose optimism, even when arrested. But this is absolutely not the right time for jokes. It turns out that these guys who arrested Khan are actually bandits. And besides, they always had an escape plan. The Elder of the Earth granted Kanu the blessing of an unstoppable body. The Elder of the Wind granted him the blessing of a fair wind. Elder Frost has upgraded the Winterbringer blessing, and Elder Destruction has granted the Word Destroyer blessing. Pak suggested getting out of this place quickly. Otherwise, he had already started losing his hair, and it was only getting worse outside. But he is already at the age when his hair falls out without any external stress. Although our hero does not deny responsibility for Manager Park's hair loss, however, it is good that Khan managed to accomplish this task without any casualties. All that remains is to wait for the opening of the 8th level tower. It seems that even Manager Pak doesn't know when this will happen. Our hero didn't know this either. In fact, he wasn't sure of it until the end of the last season. But now, the 8th level towers were opened en masse after Khan completed a special achievement: Challenger Qualification. Thanks to our hero's activity, the 8th level towers opened much earlier, and with this, the ability to protect this world was expanded. An additional update, an endless labyrinth. Towers of levels 13, 14, and 15 have been added. The head of KAI is already discussing with his partner that this child has once again proven to be one step ahead of them. As Mr. Billmeyer said, they need to stop the King Hero's atrocities. Lee Seon-ho only talks about Kang and shows no concern at all about the renovation of the towers. He is confident that as their level increases, the players will only become stronger. And again, he says such things with such a smug face. But his partner did not focus on it. The truth is that some high-ranking players and countries have secretly colluded. Last season, they even tried to take control of Kang Yu-sung. He showed them what he could do to his so-called comrades who were constantly trying to stab him in the back. But what our hero showed them was too distorted and exaggerated. Lee Seon-ho has his own opinion on this matter, because it is true that there is a strict hierarchy within their organization, led by China and Russia, who advocate the removal of the Hero King. However, their world is still alive thanks to his efforts. And the death of the hero king is not what this world wants. The main goal of KAI is to suppress his unpredictable actions and prevent the world from plunging into chaos. That's why cooperation with the largest player organization in the country is important for them. Lee Seon-ho thought for a moment about everything that had been said at that table, after which he shook hands and promised to cooperate to the best of their organization's capabilities. After this, his interlocutor got ready to leave, promising that he would contact him soon. But finally, Lee Seon-ho decided to ask his opinion about the likelihood of a successful completion without our hero. Player Kang Yu-sung earned the title of king after clearing the season's tower solo. Moreover, his exceptional abilities compared to others cannot be denied. His raid had already failed once in Season 2. However, since the towers were introduced, he is the only one who has experience clearing a level 12 tower alone. In his opinion, without a king, the probability of getting through this season is 0. Meanwhile, our hero has been detained and is sitting in an interrogation room, with an intelligence officer talking to him. The world is in such a turmoil after the 16th level tower appeared, and the King of Heroes is locked in this room. It is a simple formality, so he is asked to provide assistance. Because the government needs to present a report that Khan's mental health assessment results are within normal limits. It would be impossible to make anything up since they were recording. So the psychologist suggested starting testing. He will say a word, and our hero will have to answer with the first thing that comes to mind. To the word hero, Khan answered idiot. The psychologist asked him to at least pretend. Then he answered saint. Our hero is sure that his answers will be edited anyway, so he noticed that except for her, all the other heroes are idiots. The King of Heroes is like a scapegoat for all these idiots. When Khan responded to the word tower, he was met with a bunch of idiots. And then the psychologist suggested changing the situation a little. He suggested answering his questions as if they were having a normal conversation. Khan couldn't share his life as a player. It ended so damn long ago that he can't even remember it anymore. At the moment, our hero does all this just for money. As for negative thoughts on this matter, Khan has nothing else but them. The next question was about the reason for the refusal to clear the tower, which provoked its destruction. Khan already said that he did this to protect 2 worlds. This topic is starting again. The psychologist believes that this was a conscious decision between the player's responsibilities and his own moral principles. It draws on his personal experience treating PTSD in military personnel. He understands that many players also suffer from it and need appropriate treatment. Then our hero emphasized that the psychologist considered him crazy. At that moment, the microphone announced that time was up and Kang Yu-sung should leave the room. Then our hero simply laughed, which left the psychologist confused. He said he was just making up a joke. The psychologist asked to share it, but our hero replied that he was not sure. He doubts that this man will understand her. After leaving the room, Khan shared with Pak that pretending to be crazy was very difficult, but he asked not to worry about it. In any case, they were just playing with them. Even if Khan agrees to cooperate, they will just talk nonsense about psychiatric treatment. Although they have already done this, our hero is fine. The USA and France have expressed strong support for him. Their government's position is similar. Russia and China are making a mountain out of a molehill. This is not the first and will not be the last time they do something like this. Our hero doesn't worry about it much. Now that he's finished, he'd like to go to the tower. Pak asked him not to rush, because this was not all. Because something had happened while he had been locked here all these days. The saint fiercely defended our hero. The old man offered to watch this. As soon as the news about Cain reached her, she began to justify him wherever she could. The saint held press conferences, gave interviews, and showed up wherever possible. She expressed all the good things about our hero, all his exploits and high moral principles. Khan didn't expect this from her. He's definitely surprised. And Pak is glad that there is someone else on his friend's side. Not everyone in the world is his enemy. There are probably many such people among ordinary people. They just don't have as much influence. Their voices are harder to notice than one of the top heroes. I'll have to thank Maria personally a little later. Suddenly, our hero changed his settings, put on his gear, and accepted the Second Awakening quest. Although Pak hasn't finished speaking yet, Kang will listen to him when he returns, after which he went to the tower for the Second Awakening. He found himself again in a room surrounded by mirrors. The child with 1,001 masks and talents was greeted by an ominous reflection. Once again, Khan needs a new mask and talent. But no matter how much he has, it is still not enough. After all, in a world full of complete bastards, he's the only one with any common sense. The reflection asked our hero to turn his head and look at the three roads he could choose. The yellow mirror of truth and despair. There, Khan will be able to learn the goals of the monarchs and the essence of this game. The red mirror of power and ignorance, through which one can gain strength. And the blue mirror of dominance and loneliness, thanks to which Khan will bring all people, including players, to their knees. There is no right or wrong answer here. When our hero chooses a path, he will gain another talent and another mask. In each of the mirrors, the reflection lured Khan with beautiful speeches about the advantages of choosing their path. But our hero already knows which path he will take. A few hours earlier, during Khan's interrogation, the saint was in her office. Together with their subordinates, they worked hard, after which the assistants left, and she was left alone. She put a lot of effort into telling the people that the hero king is a good man. But she doesn't even know how he's doing. After abandoning the tower raid, he faced tough questions and accusations from reporters. Saint. I wonder what thoughts were going through his head during all this. His actions did not cause any casualties, but he was still accused of terrorism. He might be crying right now, worried, or just not caring at all. She leafed through various interviews and films about him on the internet. If you watch some of the first ones, in them, Khan happily announces to everyone that he will try to live up to the title given to him. There is no hatred or anything like that in his eyes. He just wants to save everyone. But you can't just go back to that time. The next day, Saint returned to the guild office again. Her colleagues greeted her joyfully. The assistant outlined a busy schedule for today. At 9 o'clock, she held a meeting among her people inside the office. At 11 o'clock, she answered questions of interest to journalists. And at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I met with the kindergarten teacher. She was invited to talk to the children and set a good example for them. At 17 o'clock, she filmed a podcast with a church minister. All this time, journalists hardly left her alone. And finally, in the evening, she went out onto the roof, in peace and quiet, to look at the night sky. The saint is not sure that her actions are correct. She is a hero, but she hasn't cleared a single tower all week. I wanted to light a cigarette, but it turned out that there was no pack in my pocket. Before meeting with the Pope, her assistant took her away so that the saint would not smell of smoke. At that moment, her assistant went up to the roof to find out what she was doing there. The saint thought that she had come to return the cigarettes, but this turned out to be wrong. We're talking about Cain. Everything is already complicated, and he's only making things worse. The assistant suggested staying here a little longer. Perhaps this would be the last season. The saint remembered the past, where they, as a team, killed the seasonal boss without any losses. It took them 3 tries, but they finally succeeded and will now live happily ever after, enjoying fame and peace. The girl from their team was not ashamed to be called a winter princess without her own tower. After all, the name saint, in her opinion, also sounds too much. And how can such a mean girl even consider herself a saint? But Khan then suggested that she stop. Ray and another comrade also did a good job. But our hero suggested that next time they discuss the plan in advance. Among them was Mrs. Lydia. They were all a team and helped each other. All this was in the 3rd season, the golden age of heroes. Indeed, all good memories from that time. However, if you think about it, even then you could notice that the heroes were losing their strength. The saint heard Kilgore approach Lydia to talk about something important before she left the tower. Her face changed dramatically at that moment. It was definitely some kind of important conversation. At least 3 people realized that the golden age of heroes had come to an end. And the saint realized this only after the next season, when politics completely consumed the heroes. At the same time, an event occurred that will forever remain in my memory. During another raid, the Winter Princess was seriously wounded. Her name was Erin Macion. She died. And Georg Billmeyer didn't even try to protect her. In his opinion, he should not keep an eye on the other players. He was not hired as anyone's nanny. Georg brushed Maria off, only saying that he doesn't make unfavorable deals. The country of the Winter Princess is not their ally. In a world where player strength is equal to national strength, some have come to believe that they are not obligated to help another country, and the world won't end just because she died. From that day on, even when high-level towers were opened, the heroes did not want to cooperate. They no longer trusted each other. Even for Saint and King Hero, it took a whole year to become a team. not counting seasonal raids. Can started playing solo in Season 5, and they find it hard to believe that he cleared level 12 on his own. This season will be a little different from others, because the Saint will be on the same team with that general from America and the King of Heroes. Although Maria herself is not yet sure about this. After all, it will be difficult to return everything to the way it was before. However, if there is even the slightest chance, her assistant would like to see the team of heroes in full force, a general gathering of all the heroes. It's been a long time since we've seen one, but it's really cool. Hearing this, Maria stroked her assistant's head as if she were a child. But the girl didn't like this, because she was already an adult, and Saint was only joking about her height. Once Kang Yu-sung appears, Maria will head to the tower with a large number of monsters alone. The assistant completely forgot that she had come to report the release of the Hero King, and that immediately after that he went to the Tower of the Second Awakening. A true hero to the core. Then even a saint cannot afford to sit and do nothing. She asked her assistant to reschedule all remaining meetings for tomorrow, and she herself will go to the 8th level tower, because Khan will do the same. Meanwhile, our hero makes his choice. The mark of a noble person is to fully invest in his strength. On the day that Khan prevented the tower from being destroyed, the elders generously rewarded him. There are no problems with blessings this season. I even managed to take one extra. However, the Balance Elder also drew attention to this. He expressed his concern about the excessive power and large number of rewards held by one player. But the Game Elder denies the concern and issues a stern warning not to try to change the rules of the game. The sealed chest contains a set of rewards from the Second Awakening quest, Pure Power. Inside, Khan found incomprehensibly rare consumables, volatile essences of plague, frost, and darkness, as well as an unstoppable force that grants buffs for the rest of the season. Khan used the essence of darkness on the Frostmaster, and then revealed the Dark Frostmaster. He used the essence of frost on the Army of the Dead, and received an Army of Ice Dead. Our hero has received the Dark Ice Mage class, and this completes the setup of his 4th deck. It has a list of available towers, including the Zombie Apocalypse Tower, but now at level 8. He decided to enter it. The goal of the raid is to survive until the expiration of the specified date. 4 players have already entered the tower. If a player is successfully eliminated, there is a certain probability of receiving a special reward. From now on, they will kill each other, obviously, because the choice is up to the elders. This is Ordia, a closed, domed city that is an adversary of the Tyrell Corporation. Tyrella intentionally released the virus over the city. It looks like a type of tower that doesn't let you go beyond a certain area, and it seems to be in the cyberpunk genre. A large group of infected approaches our hero, but he also has his own army. A crowd of resurrected dead will fight against zombies, but they are different because they are controlled by the player and also have weapons. Our hero raised his hand and sent his pets into battle. He himself didn't even have to do anything. For now, Can doesn't see any other events, so I started thinking that this could be a trap for him. The tower is one thing. He is more curious about who the other players who entered the tower are. Our hero is confident that they will be a greater threat than the tower itself. It seems he won't have to guess for long. One of the players showed his face. Our hero did not expect to meet here. The Saint appreciated Khan's ability to necromancy, as if he lacked the attributes of a killer, darkness, and plague. The King Hero's character gets worse and worse every time she sees him, but the Saint gets better and better each time. The mace perfectly complements her image. Priests in games carry a mace because seeing a sword blade stained with blood is considered a sin. It was such a relief to Maria that he had relaxed enough to talk nonsense. She decided to make sure that Khan was sure that everything was okay with him. Fortunately, he is in perfect health and in the prime of life. Our hero joined Maria Yeager's team, which strengthened his sacred blessing. Army of the Dead also received a buff. Aria of Valor and Guardian's Decision. It's been a while since he last received this buff. It seems like the Saint must feel immoral looking at these skeletons who received a holy buff. However, in any case, our hero is grateful for the help. But as an ally, she did what she had to. In fact, Maria is happy to be clearing the tower again, side by side with the Hero King. They will be reborn as one. The Elder of the Abominable Fusion has greatly increased his influence on the tower. Our hero is glad that finally something happened. The real threat in towers of level 8 and above are the Elders who sit in power. and capable of spreading their influence throughout the tower. Now they are facing not an ordinary stupid zombie, but a huge, disgusting monster. Breakfast. Kana suddenly wanted to break out and see the world around him. Maria is glad that he had a great breakfast today. They both took out their weapons and ability cards and then went towards the monster. This time, Mary did not stand aside and give blessings, but went forward with Khan. 2 players in the top 10 could not lose to such an opponent. Saint's character seems to only get tougher with each passing season. Violence in games really does change a person. Even with her helmet on, Kanu feels like he can see her face. Thanks to the fusion of X3 data, the Hive virus becomes immune to damage. Frost immunity, darkness immunity, light immunity, and destruction immunity have increased. And the good news doesn't end there. Thanks to the fusion of Data X5, the ability of accelerated regeneration is additionally activated. Thanks to the fusion of Data, X4's immunity to fire and immunity to blood magic increased. The main core of the Hive virus has successfully mutated. The transformed zombies moved towards our hero. Most types of immunity increased, but zombies look like they are only immune to frost. Our hero has no choice but to make do with the deck he has since there is no store. It seems like someone used frost skills like crazy after Khan entered the tower and made the situation worse. We can't give the zombies a chance to get used to them. So our hero suggested to Maria that they stick together and destroy the main core. Running away in armor is inconvenient. So Khan used one of his 3 attempts to change his mode to Darkness Baptized. Now it's not only more convenient for him, he can also take his partner with him. In the sky, they saw Commander Kilgore's controlled fighter. Now the problem of finding other players disappears. The old man also noticed our hero and the saint. Can joked that he was once again working hard to maintain world order, which is why he was sent. It looks like we won't have to wait for other players. They're unlikely to show up. Can assumed that one of them would definitely not be there since they saw a fighter. Among the players who use blood magic, only the Count can reach the 8th level tower. Since there's nothing to wait for, it's time to take a look at the main core. Suddenly, there was a big explosion. The players were attacked not by zombies, but by a man with extraordinary powers. It seems he is also a player, but the motives for his actions are still unclear. This is the one who increased the virus's immunity to frost. They say rightly that there is always a fly in the ointment. Khan suggested that he stop destroying everything around him and make a choice. Fight with them, or against them. However, when he saw the man in front of him, he froze. This guy grew from the core and kept calling on the others to become one. Kilgore recognized him as a guy from the Frost Apostles. Maybe he should try cutting off the tentacles. Khan reminded them of the incident with the Plague Lord. Even if the boss was killed, the infection would not go away. It seems that with the death of the Plague Lord, they have a new player, but they don't know how to return him to normal. Our hero has formed a killer synergy. First, he will destroy all these tentacles, and it's better to kill this monster quickly, before it mutates even more, because that's the kindest thing they can do for him. But our hero has not yet noticed the presence of another player, Count Vladimir. Vladimir now sees that blood was only a small part of this grand and complex harmony. However, with his actions, he dared to break the agreement and betray the Elder's blood. For this, he will suffer forever from the inevitable blood curse. The Blood Elder bursts into a scream, consumed by an indescribable feeling of betrayal. The Elder of the Abominable Fusion blesses the player Vladimir to merge, if he accepts it as part of himself. The contract with the Blood Elder has been cancelled and a new contract has been signed. The Elder of the Abominable Fusion made Vladimir one with the core. Our hero pierced the mutant, applying the weakness reveal debuff, but it reached the maximum number of stacks. He used the first form of the Heavenly Demon Swordsman, after which he cut the enemy in half. Thus, he destroyed the Hive X virus first. There is no message yet about the raid failure, which should have happened when one of the players died. So it's not clear yet who that guy was. But the virus attacks continue. Khan, Maria, and Kilgore fight together and cover each other. The kill didn't count, and their temporary team faces a clash.